Hello and welcome to eRacing GP. This is the Endurance Edition 2022. This is the third running of the Endurance running we've done. My name's Alex Young, and with me is Amo Hazik. Amo, how excited are you about this year?
Very excited because we're actually on the cusp of seeing some new entrants coming onto the grid, and we got a very mixed bag of drivers, either from the pro class from last season and new entrants as well. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited. You know, we got all the best teams in the region here, and we've got all the best drivers as well. So I really can't call it. It's going to be super competitive. Last year we had a really competitive season as well. So that's what's going to make it really fast. And we'll go through the entry list in a second. But what are we racing today? GT3s, GT4s?
Yep, it's a mixed class, and for this season, we got three classes, which is Pro, Pro-Am, and GT4M, which we will get through in a second as well, as you just mentioned, Alex. And with these classes already sorted out, I think we can actually have a clear idea on who's the favorite in each class.
Yep, absolutely. And we are in qualifying at the moment. How we work it is we split the qualifyings up, don't we? GT4 go out for 15 minutes, and that's what we're seeing on track. GT4 boys have just started the qualifying. And then the GT3 drivers, which is the Pro and the Pro-Am class, will do the last 15 minutes. So, yeah, pretty exciting. We're just watching the qualifying at the moment. They've just started. So, shall we go through the entry list while we let these boys warm up?
Yes, we shall.
So we can find it. All right, so here is the entry list, and you can see number 1 and number 2. That's Laundry House. They were last year's champion from Australia. And if you look at the numbers on the right, you can see that the white backed numbers, they are the Pro class. The black ones, like car number 5 there, is Pro-Am, and the reds are GT4. Other teams and drivers to look out for, of course, is car number 44. You got Indonesia's Maulana there, Malaysia's Nigel Chua. They finished second in the championship. They won the last race at Spa last year. They will be a factor today as well. On to the second page now, and at the very top, we've got 3 entries from Z Challenger Racing, a new team from Hong Kong, one of the top teams already, and you can see car 69 and 70 in the Pro-Am class, and car 71 is in the Pro class. Other drivers to look out for there, Stratos Flash and Stratos 79 in car 111 and car 22. They're the brothers, aren't they?
Yes, it's a brotherly pairing for both cars, with Ali paired with his brother Tasbi and Naki with his brother Nabil. So that will be interesting to see how the family dynamic will actually carry those two cars.
And I love how you've got NQ for Nakib and NB for Nabil, so we can differentiate the two. That's going to be very confusing as we go along. On to the third page then, and you can see Hold My Beer Racing. I love that name. Car 777, one of the GT4 cars from Singapore. And of course, Blue Steel Racing at the very top. You're in that car, aren't you?
Yes, I'll be commentating for the first couple of hours. Then I'll be heading straight back to do the driving for the last 2. So it's just the pen and parcel of doing commentary and driving is just the thrill of it.
Okay, and here are the results from last year. These are the GT3 championship results from last year. You see Laundry House there won the championship after a close fight. Legion of Race was second. Wackel's Flip Table Racing finished third from Hong Kong. Stratos Motorsports, they were the early leader one day. They were leading the championship for half the season, but then kind of faded towards the end to finish fourth. And the second Laundry House car there, Andrew Lawrenson and O'Hara. Was it O'Hara? Terry Rayton,
yes,
were in fifth. Onto the GT4 results, the Academy won the last race at Spa, and it was a really close fight. They had to win that last race, and that gave them the championship. Veloce Regazza was second from Philippines, Kawachki Racing third, Team Racing Line from fourth, and Team Uncle from Singapore was fifth. Okay, let's go back on board to the on-track action, and we're on board with Andreas Wolf right now, as he goes in for a quick qualifying lap.
Indeed, and the Hold My Beer guys were actually one of the later comers from last season, and they did not have the best of results. In fact, both cars were finished 13th and 14th from last season, but this time it looks as though they're starting out on a good foot, and they are trying to actually get off to a good start in qualifying by qualifying second right now behind Sergio No in the JMX Juniors car.
Yeah, and if you look at the top there, Sergio No there, let's go on board with Sergio No. He's looking really good right now. Ignore the numbering, there is a mistake. He's from JMX Juniors, and
it should say AM, yes.
Yeah, it should be AM, but for some reason the car number 11 there is backlit by white, which says Pro. Well, that's an error in the game. Trust us, that's the AM car, and you can see right now, he's on screen right now, the GT4 Porsche.
And the blue tags actually could also tell us the difference between the cars. So blue tags, that's obviously GT4 cars, were complete the clean slate of square is the GT3 cars. So that's at least the differentiator between the two classes or two types of cars that we have in this race.
Yeah, we have got 6 GT4 cars today, but we're just going to have to remember that car 11 is backlit wrongly. So he's on an outlap right now, so he's not looking very quick at the moment. But let's see, Andreas Wolf is just completing his lap. Has he gone quicker?
No, still stays about 2.5 tenths behind Sergio No. Zikri in the Aston Martin for Team Racing Line in third, about almost 6 tenths behind. And you said earlier just now that he's going to be one of the favorites here because they are one of the few cars that remain from last season's entry. And they are experienced already in the championship. So you might say that they want to actually start off good here and try to challenge for the championship. But at the moment at least, since 6 tenths off from the number 11 JMX Juniors car. So early days, it's only qualifying. We still got 4 hours left to go in the race after this, mind you.
Yeah, and there he is. You can see him inset right now controlling. I think he can get down. I think he can challenge for the front row. He's still on outlap there, so we'll come back to him in a second. Who's on a good lap? Lance Padilla is on a good lap right now.
Yeah, it looks like first sector was actually up from his previous best, but it looks as though that second sector just a bit weak right now. So let's see if we can actually make that up. 1.3 seconds behind the current pole sitter, which is Sergio No, and about 8 tenths behind the next car. So really, he's got a lot of time to make here.
Yeah, and I think he made a mistake breaking turn 10, so this does not look like it's going to be a qualifying lap. 5 more minutes of GT4 qualifying left to go. Let's just go back and have a look at and see how Zikri is doing as well.
Yeah, man, we're missing at least one car right now, which is the Circrew MTSPTX race tick. Yeah, that's a mouthful. And we'll just call it Circrew for short, the Bruneian team, a debutant team for this year. And it looks as though they're missing right now, so they might start all the way behind at the back of the grid, behind the entire field. So not a good way to start a brand new championship for them. As we look now at Zikri, how is he going on right now? It looks as though first sector, he's not crossed it yet.
Yeah, no, he's up a little bit. He is in the first sector, but he's definitely up and looking quite good indeed.
Let's see then, he's only about a 10th off from his fastest time. So, sorry, up on his fastest time. So he's actually set a personal best first sector. If he could improve about 3 more tenths, he could challenge Andreas Wolf for second place on the grid. But we're on board with him now. This is a really cool shot, Alex. We have seen this recently in Formula 1 with the helmet with the bullet cam. This one's directly in the center.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. It's like they put the camera in between his eyes. Oh, gets a little bit sideways through. That's going to cost him a bit of time. Yeah, he's lost about a 10th. So he's going to have to find something magical in the last sector if he wants to improve.
Well, actually, in essence, 2 tenths, because he was a 10th up, now he's a 10th behind. So he lost about 2 tenths in that second sector. As he comes across the second sector now, it's still 2 tenths behind. So Zikri then, he has to actually use this as a warm-up lap and then go fire it up for the last one, because he's got about 4 minutes left to go after this to set his fastest time, and otherwise it's over.
Yep, and let's have a look at Andreas Wolf right now. Is that Holden My Beer Racing?
Yeah.
He's actually up. He's 1.5 tenths up right now, and he's got half a lap to go. If he can keep improving, maybe he can challenge for pole.
Indeed. In fact, 2 tenths right now was actually the first sector. So coming up now to the second sector, I think he's lost it a bit. He's lost about a 10th as he comes across the second sector timing beam now. And yes, he's actually lost it. In fact, he only gained a 10th now from that second sector, as Sergio No has gone slightly faster, about 0.04 of a second. So it's now almost 3 tenths of a second at the top of the GT4 standings.
Sergio No looking pretty decent indeed. Oh, he's made a mistake, so he's lost some time as well. So he's not going to improve. But Andreas Wolf, he's right on the cusp. Oh, he's made a small. He's run a bit wide there, hasn't he? But he's still up. He's still up. No, he's lost the time. He's bled the time out of the last chicane now, and this is going to be about the same time, but it won't be quick enough to challenge for pole.
And it isn't. He has actually not improved on this previous time. And if anyone's wondering how we're seeing these lap times, because we have a live timing screen that can see the delta go up and down and back up if they're actually going faster. So that's why we can actually see this. And looks like Andreas Wolf is going for yet another one. So 2 laps in a row for him, as Zikri has actually improved his lap time. He's up. He's only about now 6 tenths behind.
Okay, now this is where he made the mistake the lap before. Let's see if he keeps it nice and clean right now. Oof. Didn't quite hit the apex there, but wouldn't have cost him too much time. He's on the way to do about the same similar sort of lap time. 54.1 was his quickest lap so far.
Coming out to the second sector now, it looks as though he is about a 10th off again. So it's just a round off the number. It could be a 10th off, it could be a 10th behind. So coming out to the second sector now, he's just matching his previous time so far. So we're not really sure whether or not there's going to be improvement until we come around through the final corner. As meanwhile, we look at Andreas Wolf. He's 2/10 up.
Wow. So Andreas Wolf is looking quite good.
Indeed he is, but remember that that last few corners that he had just now was the differentiator between why he's in second and instead of being on pole position. He was just there. He had the time there, but unfortunately ran a bit wide. Now we're coming out to the second sector. He's 2/10 up. Yes, he is. He's actually 2/10 up from his previous time, and it looks as though this might be enough to challenge for pole, Alex.
Well, let's see, because last sector is so tricky, isn't it, Amo? It's so easy to overdrive here and make a mistake, and we saw him make a mistake at the last chicane. He's still to come to that. Got a couple more corners to go. Oh, could have used more of the road there, I feel.
Well, he doesn't want to go too wide because the gravel trap can easily catch a car here, and coming out to that dreaded final few corners, yes, in a GT3 car is daunting. In the GT4 car even more so, because you still need to carry the momentum coming out of the corner. Out of the final corner now, it's 3/10 up. Will it be pole position for Andreas Wolf for the whole Might Be a Racing team? He comes across the line now, and it is pole position by almost a tenth of a second. 500s. What a final sector, Alex.
What a great lap by Wolf. Awesome lap. They kept it all together for that second lap, and he's on pole at the moment. And Sergio Newell's not improving right now. He's running out of time. This is him on his last time lap. He's only got just over a minute for his qualifying ends. 2/10 down.
Yes, 2/10 behind here, and it looks as though he's not giving me improvement. I think it might have spooked him a bit, the fact that when he come that time, and he has stopped. So Sergio No and Peter Key will line up second for their first ever race here. Sergio No, I think, has actually competed before, while Peter Key, this is his first race in the ERGP. Yeah. Alex, that was an intense qualifying GT4.
That was really entertaining. Great battle there by Hold My Beer Racing and JMX Juniors. JMX Phantom, obviously that team from Indonesia. They have a junior team today in GT4. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. Sergio No, actually a real life driver. He's actually pretty good in real life, but quite new to sim racing as it is. Okay, so GT4 qualifying is done and dusted. No one's going to improve. And you can see all the GT3 boys now. Whoa, that's a pretty shot. They look pretty there, don't they? They're all getting ready to go out. To start their qualifying. Let's have a look at some of the drivers, the liveries, shall we say, from last year. And let's have a look at the champion first of all. This is the Laundry House, of course. Now, there are the turquoise colors. It's a bit of a play from Leighton House, if you remember. You know Leighton House, don't you, Amo?
Yes, and including the scandal that actually rocked the team in later years.
Yep, of course. So the number one car, Andrew Lawrenson now joins Andrew O'Hara. It's the two Andys. O'Hara was last year's champion, Philippa Bakita. Bakita's not here at the moment. Terry Rayton joins Sergei Mironenko.
Mironenko.
Car number 2. So I don't know Mironenko. Do you know him?
No, I've never raced against him. I only raced against the other 3 guys in this team. And to tell you something, these guys are bloody fast.
Yeah, they are. Okay, the guys from last year, Legion of Racers, Andika Rama's in it again with Nigel Chua. They're going to be ones to look out for. And then, of course, we got Wacko's Flip Table Racing. They've got the 2 entries. The car 999 is their pro car, while the car 969 will be their pro-am car. So they'll be quite interesting.
Yeah, they'll be right.
Just to keep going because they're qualifying, they're still on their outlap. Stratos Motorsport, they got 3 entries actually, but we're focusing on the 7-9 entry of Nabil Aslan and Nakib Aslan. And just one more driver I want to just pay a little bit of attention to is Veloce Ragazza Racing. They were our AM runner-ups last year, and they are in Pro-Am this year, so that will be fun to see how they get on by moving up a class.
And the key thing to note that they also lost their best driver, which is Russell Reyes. He has actually gone to JMX Phantom, so they're coming into this season without an established hand to actually guide them through the races. So really now, it is going to be a baptism of fire for them if they find out that the going will get tough without one of their best drivers.
So it's kind of interesting. The pro teams are starting to pinch drivers from all over the place. I remember Nigel Chua got pinched from one of our local teams, and now he's in Legion of Racers. There is Andika Rama, Nigel's partner. Behind him, the green car of Alif Hamilton, arguably one of the best sim drivers in the region as well. So these are also ex-Legion of Racers teammates. So a bit of history between these two, and be interesting to see who comes out on top. Yeah,
it's amazingly that they actually they managed to somehow in the timeline manage to be teammates at one point for only just a few months before they moved on to bigger, better things, if we could safely say. Alif now with Team Flash has gone on to achieve massive things, and with this partnership with Stratos, it's just like an amalgamation of really, really highly competent teams coming together to actually try to achieve a common goal.
Absolutely. Anyway, we will see what they get up to, who will be the battle of the ex-teammates. And eventually, if we keep going long enough, everyone's going to be ex-teammates at some point. But Milana looking very clean indeed. And look, Alif is there behind him. He's not losing distance, so they're roughly going about the same pace. Ooh, Milana runs a bit wide there at that corner. What's that, turn 8? That's going to cost him a bit of time. Sorry, turn 7. Here we are going through turn 9 now. And we should do a lap around the track later, shouldn't we, as well?
Yep. So, Alex, you're quite familiar with this track, especially the fact that you raced it with Minardi back in 2002.
Oh, runs a bit wide there. Oh, he's going to have to restart. He'll probably get a second lap right now.
Yep. He's going to use that first lap to warm up his tires, and at the second lap, he's going to go for it.
Yeah, that is very true indeed. That's actually, I want to follow it, see what it looks like from Elif's point of view. There he is from this Elif's point of view, because you can see Milana just ahead of him right now. Coming through the last 3 corners, this is turn 14, 15. Ooh, Elif pushing a bit too hard there as well. Front's just not biting. Sometimes on the first lap, you have a bit of understeer, don't you? Then really it's the second lap where you really kind of attack.
Yeah. So because you use that first lap to prime your tires, as Alif goes on pole with 4:35. Now that is the target time to beat, as we see more of the drivers come through. Reyes with 0.2 of a second to make up. JVLI in 3rd place, 8/10, and the rest of them with Sek Yin Ho and Alexis Calpano, the top 5 right now.
Okay, there we are. We'll stay on board with Elif for a lap. He is the pole sitter at the moment. He's gone through turns 1 and 2, now through turns 3. This long right-hander, which is very, you got to have a little bit of a lift off through there. And then now turn 4, kind of break into the apex, kind of rotate the car, and then just try and get the car out of it before the next left-hander. And you can see Maulana, Legion Racers car, just ahead of him. This left-hander is so easy to overcook it, but he gets it. He nails it nicely. And this is a good lap so far from Stratos Motorsports car 111. Now braking, he now in for this corner right now, turn 7 and 8. Ooh, he nails it. We saw Milana make a mistake on that lap the lap before, and this looks like a good lap so far through turn 9. And Alif looking really good, nailing everything right now. And he's a little bit up, just half a tenth up at the moment. Now braking for turn 10. This is the old turn 10, I'm told. Let's see if he nails that. Okay, that looks quite good. Okay, the lap before, he made a couple small mistakes. Oh, O'Hara's gone quickest, by the way. We'll come back to O'Hara. Let's just finish this lap here with Alif right now. We saw Alif make a small mistake on the lap before, so maybe if he can be a bit more cleaner through the last chicane, he can find a bit of time. Ooh, Milana gets it all crossed up. Legion of Racers ahead of him, makes a big mistake. Legion of Racers under pressure. And this is looking good by Alif.
Indeed, it is looking good as he comes across the line now. He's 2/10 up. I think he will be just close to O'Hara, about a tenth and a half off from the championship winners from last year.
And there we are, championship winners. They are, whoa! O'Hara's on an even better lap now, Ammo.
2/10 up in the first sector here, and we will see whether that second sector will be good enough. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him, but it shouldn't be a problem. That is actually the 999 of the Waycross team in the BMW, so that might not be a problem because he's about 2 seconds behind-ish, so it would not distract him. Coming up to the second sector now through turn 9. Will it be enough to actually extend his gap in pole position and go into the 42s, Alex?
Wow, that would be incredible if you can get in the 42s. 42s would be incredibly fast. I don't care what championship you're from. To get in the 42s at this track would be impressive. Oh, Naqib Aslan has just gone second quickest with the exact same time.
Right up to the 3 decimal places, and that is an amazing time from both these guys. Ferrari 1, 2, 3, 4. We didn't expect to see that, but we had to go back to O'Hara. Let's see if he can actually improve that lap time because he's about 4/10 up now coming through the third sector, Alex.
Wow, okay, so this is comfortably going to be good enough for pole. What a lap by the reigning champions. Phenomenal lap. 42.7, Ammo.
Woo!
That's incredible. Okay, so
amazing. That is the lap time that we did not expect to see around here, especially the fact that the Ferraris were not the most fancy car, especially the fact that if you watch SRO qualifying in either Europe, the Americas, and Asia, Ferraris were not actually the pick of the bunch, but now they seem to be the car to go with in this one. So let's see here. The other car to look out for is the Stratos 111 for AR Muhammad Alif. Coming out to the final corner, 2/10 up in his in the third sector here. Coming out to the start finish line now. Will it be an improvement? This could be third place on the grid. It's in fact second. He just jumped the sister car of 222 by just about 700ths of a second. So again, Ferrari 1, 2, 3, 4 with a Lambo in fifth.
Wow, very good indeed. So we are more with Naqib. Alif has gone a little bit quick. It's a battle of the Stratos Motorsport teammates. Stratos 79 there here, driven by Naqib Aslan. looking like another outlap, isn't it? So he has got a bit more time to go a bit quicker.
Indeed, and in fact that we can see the delta is about 30 plus seconds, so I think he may have been into the pits and gone up with a new fresh set of tires. But the poison chalice is that you should not be chewing through your tires, because you only have 8 sets here for a 4-hour race. We can increase the sets as we get along, because for example, like in the 6-hour race, we're gonna have a bit more sets of tires, and the 16 is gonna be in the 12 hours is gonna be 16 tires. So that's actually the kind of compromise they have to make. They cannot chew through the tires too much, especially if they want to go for that fast lap for just one lap pace.
Yeah, I think 8 tires for a 4-hour race is more than enough. But you're right, for the 12-hour race, was it 14 sets? They're going to have to be very careful for that one.
Indeed. And we're on board now with Nakib, so he's going to go through at least, by the looks of it, we got 7 minutes left in the session. 2 hot laps. One will be just to prime the tires, and the other one will be a fast one, unless of course it's Nakib Aslan. He could actually just whack it in the first lap of asking. Okay,
he's preparing the car, gets a nice clean exit out of the last chicane as he comes through here. This is the SEM9 driver, Malaysian driver. He's with SEM9, pretty much one of the biggest esport teams in the region. Won the Southeast Asia Esports Championship in January, didn't he? So we know how quick he is.
And he's got his brother for company as well, so at least he knows for a fact that he can rely on a co-driver that's highly dependable. So this car will be one to watch out for the championship. I see now actually gets a traffic in front of him. That's car number 100 of Harishami coming through. As the lap times have not improved so far, everyone's still staying as they are. In fact, it's now a Ferrari 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wow.
I think we didn't expect to see this when the BOP values were released.
Yeah, the Ferrari looking very good at Barcelona. Wow. I mean, let's see how it balances out throughout the whole season. But we do have a look at the BOP after every race, so this might require some amendments. So
we can see now that's Nakib Aslan. While Andika Malana, he's about a 10th up in the first sector, but he's got traffic right in front. That's the Java Sim car of Billy Ebenheiser, one of the brand new teams for this season, and he moves out of the way. But would that compromise Andika's time? Looks as though it hasn't, because he's still about a 10th up from his previous best.
Yeah, so if he can just maintain this, maybe find another 10th, he might be able to make a position. Well, he'll definitely make a position if he can find another 10th. Might make 2.
Indeed. So right now in qualifying top 5, needless to say, it's a Ferrari 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Laundry House leading the way with Andrew O'Hara. AR Muhammad Ali in second for the Stratos Flash car. Third is Nakib Aslan for the Stratos SEM9 car. Fourth, Andika Malana, who we're watching right now, the Legion Races car for Ferrari as well. And fifth, Avila Bahar for JMX Phantom. So I think they probably just did so much testing that they know that for a fact that this car is fast at this circuit, Alex.
Yeah. It is. I wonder if they'll change it after this track, because this car's not fast at every track. But yeah, it comes across the line. Oh, he's lost a bit of time through this last sector. He'll do roughly the same time. Let's see this exit here. See if he makes a position. Will he make a position as he goes across the line? Yes, no. He does. He makes one position. He goes up to third. So a tiny improvement there by Malana puts him third in Legion of Races.
I'm surprised that he actually improved that last time, because it looks as though he actually gone off the boil a bit coming through that final sector, but he managed to clutch it, and now he just splits the 2 Stratos cars in second and fourth with a third place time.
All right, let's go look at the fastest of the non-Ferrari cars. Terry Rayton in the other Lamborghini. He's up in 6th position right now, 7 tenths. Okay, Rayton. Well, he shouldn't be 7 tenths off. I'd accept maybe 3 tenths, but not 7 tenths. So the Audi, not quite. I don't think any of the cars are quite as quick as the Ferrari at the moment today. Yeah,
for this race at least, and it looks a bit daunting for a fact that during the race pace itself, the cars are also quite fast. So we'll see. We'll see. A lot can happen in endurance races, especially 4 hours, despite it being a relatively short endurance race number. But it could still, a lot of things can happen in between.
It's very true there. Okay, he's about to start his lap, and he will be on his lap. Maybe he'll get 2 laps for the end of qualifying. All of the top 10 really are on quick laps at the moment.
Indeed, and in terms of class as well, pro class leaders are up to 7th, while 8th Alexis Clapano for the Allen Racing team, which is actually a brand new team for the season as well. He's paired up with Alan Drake Cruz, a very fancy youngster from the Global Edition. So to see them up in 8th for the Pro-Am category, even beating some of the pro guys, that's amazing to see.
It is indeed.
With Ali Karuddin right behind in 9th for the GSR car, and 10th is Wukit Low for the sister car to the number 369. So that's the top 10 in qualifying right now. But I think there's still all to change in the final 3 minutes that we have that remain here in the first endurance race of the season. And wow, it might be a bit of a shake-up in the order, but some things still remain the same, and that's at Laundry House car in pole position with a 42.7, a blindingly quick time, if we could say so ourselves. We expected 42s, but to be almost 0.4 of a second up from the rest of the field, that is unprecedented.
Yeah, well, yeah, say unprecedented. We have seen some great qualifying from Laundry House last year, didn't we? They were in the McLaren last year. And some of the qualifyings they did by this driver, O'Hara, and of course his teammate back then, Bokida, were seriously impressive.
Indeed, but to come here with a brand new car, obviously, to start the season off with a car that they're not familiar with from last season, and to be this fast still, just proves that these guys really know what they're doing behind the scenes, technical-wise.
Absolutely, they're definitely ACC specialists, understand the game very well. We should go back to Andika Rama though, because he's on a good lap. He is actually 2/10 up right now. And looking good indeed.
Now, will it be enough to challenge for pole here for Andika? Let's see. Coming out of turn 9 now, into the final sector. If he gets that final sector right in this guy, it will look good. And it's quite a mouth-watering pole position we have on the cars, to be honest. With a Laundry House in pole position and potentially a Legion Racers car in second. The two championship contenders from last season, looks like they never missed a beat.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Laundry House looked the same livery, but Legion of Racers have a new livery this year, black and purple. And this is looking good indeed. Still 2/10 up. Oh, he's got some
no! Oh, that's going to cost him, because that's Harish Shami in the GSO Aston Martin. That might have bogged him. In fact, he has. He's lost about 0.2 of a second. That could have actually challenged for pole. He comes across the line now. Will it be second? Yes, it is. But it could have been much more, Alex.
Wow, how disappointing for Malana. He definitely lost a 10th, maybe even a 10th and a half, maybe 2/10. I would have been very close, wouldn't it?
Indeed, and he's the second car to be in the 42s here for this session. So it's in the 42s, but I think Malana will be a bit miffed by the fact that he just got held up by traffic at the worst possible moment in the lap.
Okay, and also, Will Kit has done a good job there. In the first of the Pro-Am cars, he's up to P6 as well, so good job there. And he's in the Audi.
Indeed. And look at that pole position. Look at the first two. Car number 1, car 44. You might think that in Formula 1 this year would have been 1 and 44, but unfortunately the 44 is well off the pace right now.
Let's see who else is out there. Russell Reyes, first of the BMWs. Now, this was a car that was quick earlier on, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked like it was setting the pace. In fact, it was up to 6. It was the best of the rest that were non-Ferrari cars. And it's completely weird to see that it's car 311, but it's JMX Phantom, when you should be saying that this is a Veloce Ragazzo car. But because Ray has moved over to this team and he brought his number with it, so we're going to have to get used to this new arrangement.
That's interesting indeed. And one of Ray's old teammates, Alex Clapano, there in the Lamborghini, he's out of qualifying now, right now. Chris Stone, one of the new drivers in the Bentley as well, he's up there.
Oh, but we got a new word of Bahar, actually 2/10 up. So where is Avila Bahar? He's coming through the final sector now. There it is, the 5th of the Ferraris and another one of the JMX Phantom cars. Let's see how he can improve. He's coming out to turn 12, and we're into the tricky section, turn 13. Oh dear God, driving here, especially in the Bentley. And look at that, he just slides a bit. Let's see if actually that costs a bit of time. It has, and it looks as though he might not be able to improve. A bit squirrely coming through the final corner, through 14, 15, and now 16. Will it be an improvement? No, it isn't. It's in fact 2/10 off. He comes across the line now, and that's it. That's the end of his qualifying. He will start 5th. Great start to the season for the JMX team.
Yeah, it is indeed. Okay, so that is it. It's all done and dusted right now. Let's have a look at the timetable. Wow, take us through the grid.
Right then, so first grid of a brand new season of Endurance Edition. We have, well, it's the usual story, Laundry House on pole position. Behind him is the Legion Racers car number 44 with Andikara Mamalana and Naja Chua. Third is Naki Baslan with the Stratos Sam 9 car. In fourth place is Alif with car number 111 in the Stratos team as well. 5th, Avila Bahar with JMX Phantom. So that's the top 5. The rest of the field, 619 for GSR, number 2 for Laundry House, 71 for Z Challenger C, 311 for JMX Phantom, and 369 for GSR Motorsport. So that's the top 10 for the first round of the season, Alex.
Wow, okay, that's going to be exciting indeed.
So, welcome back to eRacing GP Endurance Edition for season 2022. And we're back here now with a brand new commentator alongside us for the season, Afiq, who is also the head honcho of Speed Tavern. Afiq, welcome to the commentary box.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Right, so before we're going to go get raced proper, here is a very interesting camera view that we have on track right now, and it's the grid walk here. we're on pretending to be on a Segway to see through the entire grid. So we can see now it's a sea of Ferraris from the top 5 onwards. So I think would you like to run through the grid?
So it's Andrea O'Hara on pole for the Laundry House 488 Ferrari, and then you have Andika Maulana in the number 44 of the Laundry House car. Sorry, Legion of Races car.
And then we're going on now. The two Stratos cars right beside each other in 3rd and 4th. Avila Vaha in 5th for the JMX Phantom Ferrari. 6th is Wu Kit Lo for the GSR Audi. 7th is Terry Rayton for the second of the Audis, but it's the Evo 2 for Laundry House. 8th is Marco Wong for the Z Challenger car. 9th is Russell Reyes for JMX Phantom, and 10th for Ali Khairuddin for the second of the GSR cars, who's lining up in 10th. And now we go through the rest of the field. This is outside the top 10. So Allen Racing, a debutant team for this season for Lamborghini number 31. And then beside him is number 69, another Z Challenger car in the Bentley, with the JMX Juniors number 12 BMW, as we got a bit of a camera jolt there because some of the cars are actually gridding up. Number 15 for Celsius Autosport, that's actually the Honda lining up beside there, outside the top 10 in 13th. Then Intipidian Motorsport number 103 beside them, and then Z Challengers. So that is the grid. We have a full field of cars. I think 39 cars was on the entry list, but we got 38 because I think one of those cars was missing, Afiq.
Yeah, one of those cars were missing. So I'm guessing it might be the 242 Circuit Motorsport and Race State car, which is very unfortunate because they're in the GT4 entry and the GT4 only has 6 cars in them, so having one less is a little bit sad. But nevertheless, I believe with 5 GT4 cars, we're going to have a very good race.
Yep, regardless, and we had even crazier races with those kind of cars when we focus on them, at least, while the GT3 battle's going up in front. Now then, formation lap for a 4-hour race, and it's a full formation lap. So we know for a fact that these cars, when they are on the full formation lap, they can actually get the tires heated up, but it might not be the case sometimes if they don't know how to do it.
Well, it might not be the case, especially when the track temperature is 24 degrees. So the thing about ACC is that you need to be very quick in order to warm up the tires. And if you don't do that, then basically your tires will be cold and your brakes will be cold. So coming into turn 1, especially with Barcelona, when you have a very long straight, as we can see Andika Maulana, they're sitting comfortably in his seat. Comfortably, yeah.
I mean, you say comfortably, but you can see. Is that his eyes or is that the glare of the? Yeah, it is the glare of the screen because it looks as though his eyes are bulging out because he's concentrating so much. But this is the storyline we're going to see throughout the season, I believe, because out in front here, Legion of Racers with Laundry House, the 2 L cars, but they are taking the W for this one, I think, because look at that. The top contenders from last season are all within earshot.
Yeah, especially with both Stratos Motorsport car, the brothers Nakib and Nabil. And you have Alif and Tasbih in the number 111 car in the Stratos. So Stratos can be a little bit of a headache for the number 44 Legion of Races cars and the number 1 Laundry House car driven by Andrew O'Hara and Andrew Lawrenson. But I believe these drivers are one of the best in the region. I've raced with them personally, and oh my goodness, they're so quick, they're so composed, and if you try to put pressure on them, they can never succumb to it. I've never seen any of them succumb to the pressure.
Indeed, and we also have experience from last season as well, and in other leagues, how fast these guys are. And as we come up now to the final sector, we're through turn 9, and pretty soon I think they're going to be called by the race engineer to go into double file. So pretty soon then, we're going to get the first race of Endurance Edition for 2022 underway very soon, and the excitement is palpable. You can actually cut it with a cricket stump, how tense it is right now for these drivers. So then, we run through the rest of the field that were outside of that top 15. So Lucas Dowd in the Intipidian Motorsport number 103 is in 15th. 16th is Sek Yin Ho for the Z Challenger car. 17th is Taufik Moyin for the GSR number 696. And then Wong for car number 969 in Chang Ming Wong in the Waycos car. That's 18th. 19th is Aldo Balagullin. 20th is Felix Young. And 21st is yours truly's car. And I got word that Javier actually got a bit of stage fright here because the qualifying pressure got to him. But I think he can just back it off right now. We get ready for the race as we come through the final corner then. Andrew O'Hara will lead the field. He will be controlling the pace up in front and make sure that he could try to hold the lead coming to turn 1. He's got the inside line on the right-hand side coming through turn 1 here.
Yes, coming through turn 1 here. Andrew O'Hara, Andika Maulana, your front row for the grid will line up on the double file.
Double file start. So, waiting for the green flag. We're underway here for the 2022 season of Endurance Edition. And it looks as though Andika Maulana has got a good start beside him. But the second phase of the start is Andrew O'Hara, who's actually gotten the jump here as the 2 Stratos cars go NASCAR style here trying to bump drive coming to turn 1. Look at that side of 39 cars going through. There's a bit of a touch there. Naki Bazlan is actually touched. Andika Ramamalana is barges his way through second as an Audi goes off. Oh, that's going to cause an accident for sure. And that's an Audi off into the gravel. That's the GSR car as the rest of the field, and I think stream through safely is Woodkit Low. And yesterday we saw in the practice race, well, it wasn't broadcasted, he had a lot of trouble trying to warm up the tires, and it looks as though he's got caught up today. But a good start for Andrew Lawrence, and he holds on to the lead.
Look at that. Andika Ramamalana losing the position at the start there to Nakib Azlan though. And now Andika is pressuring Nakib. Nakib with a super aggressive start then bumps his way into P2. And there's a little bit of contact there at the back there between Terry Rayton. Sorry, is that Terry Rayton?
No, that was Marco Wong. So Marco Wong actually has barged his way through Russell Reyes. And Russell might think that that would be a bit unkind. No, in fact, that's actually Vila Bahar who got bumped out of the way. So Marco Wong then with also yet another aggressive start. So I think because the cars are not primed and ready for the temperatures yet, they just want to get as many positions as possible before the lap ends. So on board, we're watching Marco Wong right now, and he's just outside of that top 4 that he's challenging for. As he goes around the outside there. That's not going to be a move on, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not going to be a move on. Round the outside coming into turn 10. That's never going to get the job done. Alif stays ahead of Marco Wong though. As you can see, both Avila Bahar and Russell Reyes, both JMX Phantom cars, one with the Ferrari 488 and the other with the BMW M4 in P6 and P7 respectively. But there you go. There are your leaders for turn 1. Andrew O'Hara, pole position still in first.
Yep, coming up now to the end of the first lap for the first round of the first Endurance Edition race of the season here. And it's Andrew O'Hara who leads the way. Baraba is second ahead of Nakia Bazlan, and no surprises there, fastest lap. But because it's only just the first lap, in fact, Russell Reyes and Ali Karidin, well, I think it's just the delta being screwed up slightly because of the start. But it's Andrew O'Hara who leads by about second ahead of Naki Bazlan and Adika Ramamalana. This might just be the story of the season.
This might be the story of the season. Oh, look at that. Andika taking a lot of sausage coming into turn 1, and he is being pressured by Hello, who he is Stratus Motorsport teammate of Nakib Azlan. There's the sister car, the number 111, Muhammad Ali Hamilton. And look at the gap between P2, P3 and P4. So they are fighting for position here, and we're only 2 minutes in.
Indeed, but it could have been a Ferrari domination up in front, a complete quintuple at the front of the grid had it not been for Marco Wong, who buys his way through. Marco Wong then just outside of that top 4 Ferrari leading quartet here, but looks as though he got a bad exit that time coming out of turn 6, and Vila Bahar might go on the inside. Yes, he does. So we get a Ferrari quintuplet after all.
Oh, and he nudges his way past Marco Wong there. Vila Bahar, super aggressive move, but gets the job done. I like that move. But Marco Wong drops down the position to P6. Avila Bahar though moves up to P5. As we can see back on board, Andika Ramamalana right behind at the background there. Russell Reyes, his JMX Phantom teammate, pressuring Marco Wong. Doesn't seem like he can get the job done, but Andika Ramamalana, he was closer to Muhammad Alif just now, but now he's getting closer to the guy in P2, Nakib Azlan.
So we heard about race pace wise. These guys are doing about 44s. 43s might be a possibility, but that's just really literally matching qualifying times, isn't it, Avi?
Yeah, it is matching qualifying times, and especially with this track times, it's not too low. It's too high to do a 43. So probably the lowest we can have is probably a 144 now. As Andrew O'Hara with the fastest time of 144 dead. So it's very impressive, and the car behind him, Nakib Azlan, is doing a 44.4 ammo.
So you were saying you were saying that 43s are not possible here, but there you go. Andrew O'Hara has actually proven us wrong there for the first time this season, and probably will prove us wrong for the rest of the season to come.
Yeah, probably, but you can't push these tires on the limit every single lap. That won't work. That will basically kill off your tires, and your tires will die off by 30 minutes in, which is not what you need to do. Avila Bahar though still stays in P5, and Marco Wong, 2 tenths right behind him, Memo.
Indeed, and Marco Wong looking quite racy here. In fact, he still already had RG-Bargy battle coming up to turn 6. And what Marco do again? Nope, not this time. And remember, Bahar actually got back in front of Wong by a bit of a Bargy move himself. So this might just be also the story of the race in this case. But it looks as though Bahar might just be able to increase that gap slightly in front of the Z Challenger guy. And BMWs, we all know for a fact that the M4 was one of the meta cars in the game itself. But due to the BOP we use in this championship, it looks as though it's not the car to have.
Well, we gave them a 30 kilo BOP because we know that the BMW is so overpowered, especially in race pace. So 30 kg might be fair for them, but at the moment it's a Ferrari 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Avila Bahar though on the bottom of your screen there, trying to be very composed.
And it looks as though that beside him is actually Reyes himself, I think, because he is right. His teammate is right beside. So it might be Reyes or it might be another driver we don't know of, but it looks as though he's actually in the race with him.
Yeah, it looks like it might be on the race with him though. Avila Bahar probably Racing or JMX Phantom as a gaming house and then houses all their drivers. So we'll go back to the battle here.
For P4,
So-
sorry, well P2 in essence, because it is Nakib just in front of Andika with Alif in 4th place, and looks like they're holding station for now. Lawrence is not, sorry, O'Hara has said Andrew Lawrence. O'Hara is only just about a second away, so they're still watching breathe. He's not being lost here.
Yep, as for GT4 though, on the other hand, Andreas Wolf, who, well, pimped Sergio No for P1 in GT4 category, so it's very impressive by the home eRacing compatriot in the number GT4 Porsche car. And and behind him is Sergio Nyo and Chopian Said though, who had a difficulty entering the start, so he came out of nowhere. He's now in P3.
Yeah, unfortunately wrong number car because it is 242 for that Circru car. That is a new car for the championship, but regardless, it's a good start for him as he's under pressure now from Muhammad Zikri, who I spoke to him earlier this week. He said that he was quite fancying his chances of actually challenging for the championship, but at the moment at least, fighting for the podium is not bad going as he goes onto the inside, coming out to turn 1. Oh, that's a late move. Will he make it? Yes, he did. That is actually quite a good move. He had the slipstream, and the Circru guy, Sofian, to his credit, actually gave him a lot of space there.
Yeah, gave him a lot of space. But back to Sofian in the number 242, who was supposed to drive the 242. Now he's in the 243, so it may have compromised his server, and he may be the only one who's going to drive for the rest of the session. It's going to be a 4-hour sprint for him, Emo.
Ooh, indeed. And who are his co-drivers who are supposed to be in that car? Yeah, Sofian Said, Adi Wafiuddin Morshedi, Ikram Hussain, and Muiz Omar Ali. That is a 4-driver team. But you know, it's possible to still do 4 hours, but he is going to exceed his maximum limit, and he may just be imposed with timing sanctions after this.
As we'll jump back to the GT3 race between, oh, look at it, it's a GSR fighting for P10, P11, and P12. Well, GSR cars are up there. Now, GSR are fielding 2 cars in the Pro-Am category, as you can see on the black box in the screen there with their number in it. And Ali Karidin is the only Pro entry car in the GSR team. So 619, 369, and 696, Wicked Lau, Ali Karidin, and Taufik Mohin respectively. And Wicked is sporting the old Audi ammo.
Indeed, in fact, well, actually, I think it is the new one. Well, the Taufik Mohin car is driving the old Audi. We can't tell the difference right now because it is about the same. Apart from, I think, the way that the wing is structured at the back. So, I think they might have gone for the older car because it might just be more drivable. Because the new car, okay, I think we've heard this as well from insider reports, that the new Audi may not be as wide it seems. This is the new Audi, as you can see. Look at that rear wing structure. Yeah, that's the Evo 2.
Yeah, it's being mounted from the rear to the rear wing itself. So it's very interesting. I think that's the only way you can differentiate the two. Probably handling-wise, physics-wise, driving-wise is a lot different. I've never known because I've never driven the Audi before.
Driven the old Audi, and around Spa, it feels like it's on the knife edge because I did a race between Slovakians and was it Croatians? Yeah, I forgot. It was among the slabs, and it was actually quite tricky to drive those cars, especially the fact that it's just on a knife edge. So I think the physics might improve for the Audi for now, but it looks as though it's not a car to have in this championship either.
It doesn't look like it's the car to have in this championship either, though, especially with the new Audi. But Alif Andika is, well, trying to get past P2. Nakib is not pulling away, which is a little bit strange because he has the second best time in the entire server at the moment with a 44.125, but he's not pulling away from Andika. That's how close this grid is. That's how competitive this grid is, and that's what makes this Endurance Edition exciting.
Indeed. And what else is exciting actually, because aside from the top 4 we're watching right now, 5th place Avila Bahar as well is actually having a good lap time. I don't know why it's not counted as, it is the fastest lap.
It is the fastest lap.
Yeah, it's because I was looking at why O'Hara wasn't getting fastest lap. In fact, it was actually Bahar who has the fastest lap of the race. So by about 100th of a second, exactly 100th. It's 0.30 for O'Hara, while a 0.20 for Bahar. So literally, that's how close it is. So the top 5 Ferraris, if they stay this close as they are, as we look at the further behind, and it looks as though Marco Wong has actually been overtaken by Russell Reyes, and now he's under pressure from Terry Rayton.
Yep, being under pressure by Terry Rayton, so it's a little bit strange that Marco Wong lost position there. He had the pace from Russell Reyes, but he somehow lost it, and now he's being pressured by Terry Rayton. Terry Rayton, who can just stay behind the slipstream of Marco Wong and will get the position for P7 and will move, trying to find a way past Russell Reyes in P6.
Wow, look at that. That battle actually is really good. This is the battle for the best, the rest, basically. I'm not saying it's a foregone conclusion. Anything can happen to any of those 5 Ferraris up in front, but it looks quite menacing right now that the prancing horses are prancing just like in F1.
Yeah, just like in F1. No, Ferrari in F1 leading the championship. Ferrari in Endurance Edition hosted by eRacing GP leading the race with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you're a Ferrari fan, you're going to be a happy guy.
Anyway, there's no camera pointing right now, but I'm just pointing at myself at that for a second. But anyway, so this battle between these three are actually hotting up. So they're actually losing a bit of time to the guys who are in 1st to 5th. And it looks as though this lap, I think O'Hara has lost a bit of time because Nakib is actually much closer than he was before.
And the gap between Andy O'Hara and Nakib Azan, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the timing screen right now. The gap between Andy O'Hara and Nakib Azan is 0.9 of a second, 0.8 of a second. And the gap between P1 until P5 is bunching up. So it's going to be a 5-way scrap between 5 different Ferraris, but 4 different teams.
Yeah, absolutely. You're quick to point that out because we would love to have a different teams here, but you know, it goes to show that the level of competency, especially with Laundry House, Legion of Racers, and Stratos, and of course we can include JMX Phantom to that one, they're just close. I was about to say about between these 5 Ferraris, they could be a surprise among them because Avila Bahar, if he catches up to them, it might actually set up a grandstand finish between these 5 cars. So we'll wait and see. We're only about 12 minutes into this race.
We're only about 12 minutes into this race, but Avila Bahar, well, a newcomer into ACC last year, he started racing in the Endurance Edition in the mid-season, if I'm not mistaken, but he's been quick, he's been very rapid since he started racing in it. And, well, one of the fastest Indonesians as well. Well, Indonesia has produced a lot of quick drivers. Yeah,
well, you say one of the fastest Indonesian. You have to remember there is another Indonesian right in front of it, which is Andika, and he has long held that title, being Ramsteak. And well, he doesn't ram people for fun, but he calls himself because he's Rama. So one of the fastest Indonesians ever to have countered that country in sim racing and in the real world. So really, both of them have a lot of pride at stake, especially given the fact that they're both actually real world drivers. Bahar also does some real world racing as well. So it's not a matter of personal pride; it's also a matter of professional pride between these two.
Well, it's a professional pride between these two. If I'm not mistaken, Andika does a couple of laps, does a couple of races in the Sentul circuit in Jakarta. Avila Bahar, though, I've not really seen him in action in the real life category.
I think he drives BMWs as well in real life, but I'm not sure where he races specifically because there's a lot of club circuits around Indonesia. But regardless of what they do, what they drive, it goes to show that they got real world pedigree as well. As we are now looking between the battle between Reyes and Wong.
As we're looking at a battle between Reyes and Wong, though. Reyes and Wong, a little bit. Oh, Reyes drifting, doing his best Takumi impression. The Beamer is so difficult coming into corner entry. I've driven it. I've never liked it. I mean, I can like it, but if you can adapt your driving style to it, then you can be very quick. But yes, we can see Reyes drifting his way coming to turn 1. Probably one of the few Takumi actions that we're going to have to take.
Well, he does actually refer to himself as Shingo sometimes, but we're not going to go into the initial D references. We're not in Japan, we're in Spain, so there's only pain if you actually go off there.
Yep.
As, yeah, the BMW has that kind of weird driving style where you really have to go parabolic. As someone kicks up the dust there, that might have been Avila Bahar.
Yeah, that might have been Avila Bahar.
Oh, it is? Oh, no, it's not. It's a GT4. It's a GT4.
Yeah, it's a GT4. It's a 252 Audi of the FSA Racing driven by Azwan Anwar there. So he's just trying to get himself out of the way as possible, because if you're in the middle of GT traffic, it's going to be very disadvantageous as a GT3 driver. Azwan Anwar doing the right thing there. He's still right behind there, moving his way right outside of the racing line rather.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now back to Nakib Azlan though. Nakib Azlan. Oh my god, look at that gap. What is going on with Andy O'Hara? He's losing pace. This is what I was talking about. If you push the car from start to end, your tires are going to be dead. Look at the gap right now. It's 0.7 of a second. And the difference between all 4 of these, well, discounting Avila Bahar, is 0.4.
4 cars in GT4. We're going to GT4 right now, as there might have been a change for the battle for the lead of the race. Is it? No, we're actually going to go for a while just to chat about it, because apart from the change to 3rd place, we saw just now, because Zikri made that Hail Mary of a maneuver, almost Banzai-like, to actually take 3rd place away from Sofian Said. It has actually stabilized slightly, apart from the fact that the gap between Sergio Noor and Zikri is slightly closing, so 1.2 seconds between the two. As I think there might have been a change there. Is it? Yeah, because there is a 444 Ferrari, so that's another one of the FSA cars. Imran Zuhaili coming through them. Yep, so Imran Zuhaili might have had a bad start to the race for that particular car. So one of the only few Ferraris that actually is not excelling at the moment.
Well, it's a GT3 Ferrari. What is he doing at the back of the grid? Probably he had a very poor start and he had damages, so he had to repair his car. The thing about ACC is that it takes 5 minutes if you have full damage. That's how long it takes, and 5 minutes is roughly 2.5 laps around Barcelona.
And that actually, look at that overtake just now. He actually held up Sergio Noor coming up to turn 9, so that might have given the opportunity for Zikri to actually come out to the back of him. So there we're watching Imran right now. He's actually batting for overall position as, we go back up to the front, battle for second as Nakib Aslan under severe pressure from Andika Ramamalana. All the while then he's also trying to reel in Andrew O'Hara. So O'Hara then, either he has actually gone through his tyres like cookies, or he is actually holding up back the pace. We're not sure right now as they come through GT4 traffic. It's all playing right now. It's converging here between the GT3 and GT4 traffic as this might be a bit tricky. Ooh,
very close there. Oh, Shopian side, get out of the way, son. You're not supposed to be there. You're affecting the drivers. But nevertheless, he did a very good job not collecting any of the GT3 drivers whatsoever. Andika, though, look how close the gap is between the top three. And we're only 17 minutes in. What's going to happen in the last hour of the race?
I don't know. I feel like I don't want to drive today then if the race is going to go this good.
You're going to do commentary?
No. I want to drive as well, actually, because I just want to experience how this is like. We'll go to talk about the 401 after this, but at the moment, look at that. Andika coming out to the back as we come through GT4 traffic. This is Zikri now, they're overtaking, so that's third place in GT4 now overtaken. Coming out now to second place soon as so Zikri's doing the sensible thing to get out of the way, not to be flashed out of the way, so at least that he's knowing sensibilities of trying the intricacies of trying to let faster cars through.
And the issue with this GT4 traffic is that it's affecting the race leader Andrew O'Hara very badly in the Laundry House #1 car, last year's championship winner. So it's going to be very, very, very tricky for Andrew O'Hara to pull away. Now that the gap is getting closer, Andika. Oh my goodness, so close. They're almost coming together with the GT4. Andika though, well, that's a lot of reactive skills there.
Yeah, his fellow countryman doing a bit of a deal for him there because he has actually slowed up the two guys in front, so it's actually making the gap much closer. But Nakib now right up to the back of Andrew O'Hara, 0.4 of a second here, coming up to the front of the field. This is close as we are now. Look, that's the leader for GT4. That's Andreas Wolf for the home eRacing team. Is he going to get out of the way safely, or is they going to have to force his way through? This is going to be quite tight. Leaders of both classes coming through now, and it looks as though O'Hara has been compromised completely. This might be a change for the lead, Afiq.
This might be the change of the lead. Look at how close Nakib is to the right of the gearbox of Andrew O'Hara in the Laundry House car. Will he get the slip changer coming into turn 1? Doesn't look like it. Andrew O'Hara is going to take the defensive line though as round on board. Nakib Azan in the helmet cam. Well, as a centralized helmet cam, it's going to be a very interesting view as he tries to get closer and tries to get snatch P1 from Andrew O'Hara. Nakib though is a little bit further back, Ammo.
Indeed, and Nakib will get compromised there slightly by Andreas Wolf. So that battle between the four drivers has now become a threesome up in front as O'Hara then 2/10 ahead of Nakib while sorry, I did I say Nakib just now being held up? I meant Alif. So Alif got held up. Nakib's now still in second, and third is Rama. So by the 10th, and it's 1.3 now between Alif and Rama. So he got held up real badly there, although that said, he's still within shot. So the 5 Ferraris then, the quintessential quintuplets, are still together.
Well, the biggest loser there, I guess, in that GT4, almost getting involved in a collision there is Alif Hamilton. Well, he was 2/10 behind Andika Ramamalana, and now he's 1.3 seconds behind Andika Ramamalana. Nakib though going wide in the chicane section, turn 7 and turn 8. Well, Andika now right behind his gearbox. What can Andika do? Will Andika dive bomb though? I don't think so, as we have a spinner there, 969. That is one of the Wyckoff flip table cars.
And that might have been a collision between himself and either James Russell, or he tried to overtake Alexis Calpano and spun, so that has cost him. In fact, it's still stuck there. So Chad Mei Wong in the number 969 car, no, he finally got going again, but that's lost him a lot of position. Meanwhile, we're looking up back to the front here because this is the battle that we really want to see, how this plays out between the Legion of Racers car and the Stratos car. The Stratos car still up in front here, only by just. And it looks as though that he's got low-hanging fruit in the form of the Laundry House cars slowing slightly, but he just can't make any inroads with him. All the while, then the guys behind look like they're very hungry to overtake him as well.
Well, they look like they're very hungry to overtake him as well. GT3 traffic though coming in right now. The number 12 of the JMX Junior car, the number 444 FSA Racing car, driven by Sharik Zulkarnain. Sharik Zulkarnain. The real-life Toyota Racing driver car, all the way down in P. Well, it's not Sharik Zulkarnain, it's Iman Zohaili Zulkifli, mind you, his teammate. So down all the way into P31 in that, greenish and yellowish FSA Racing Ferrari.
I was expecting him to run a silver, blue, and red because that's their actual kart colors. But they're trying to go for the somewhat Manchester United early day colors, the Newton Heath colors.
Yeah,
you might know that.
Yeah, Newton Heath quality. Oh my God, look at that. Andika getting closer. The gap now is 0.3 of a second. Andika though, how long are you going to stare at the back of someone's car?
All the while, then O'Hara might be laughing to the bank here because Nakib seems to be a cork in the bottle with these guys. Yes, he made a great start by barging his way up to second, but it looks as though he can't keep up the pace as we look at the battle for first. Oh, there's a change for the lead, I think, because Andreas Wolf has actually dropped to third, and it's not a pit stop. If it was a pit stop, that might have actually completed. So I think that might have been the cause of why there was a spinning 969 car. It was caused by Andreas Wolf, I think. That we can safely deduce.
Yeah, it might be the safety of the dude. Maybe that's the reason why Andreas Wolf, the GT4 leader, collecting, probably the 969 of Chang Wong, collecting the number 57, sorry, the number 777 Home IBA racing car. Very unfortunate there for the race leader.
Indeed, and unfortunately we couldn't get a replay to see that one, but that is a serious change. Oh, there goes Wolf again! He's off into the barriers! I think he is off into the barriers. The car is completely stopped. And oh, there we go. He just comes across the screen. That is actually severe damage. So, okay, we can safely say that was a collision between himself and the number 969 Waycross car. So, unfortunate for him. Pole position for the number 777 car has actually gone begging. He will still get points here all the way in 5th place, but that really is not what he wanted to start the season with.
Oh my goodness, so unfortunate for the Home IBA guys. We were very quick in the GT4 category. Very unfortunate to get collected by the number 969 Chang Wong car. Back to the front though, Nakib Azlan. Oh my goodness. Again, how long are you going to be in front of someone? You're going to find someone's mistake if you stay that long.
Well, you know, for a fact that this is a bit of a long championship. 6 rounds with about a total of 44 hours of racing we're going to do. I think he's being circumspect. He doesn't want to waste any of those hours stuck trying to chase shadows, basically. So I think Rama is just trying to pressure Nakib into mistake, but he knows full well that Nakib rarely, I think, ever makes a really rookie mistake. So he's just trying to do it for the sake of, if he does, he will try to pick out the pieces. And he's being circumspect because he doesn't want to damage the car to get 1 or 2 seconds of damage that will lose out on track when he's in pits.
Yep, he will lose out on track, so that will total up his pit time to 32 seconds if he does have that 2-second damage to Andika. Well, it's a 6-round championship. You can go for the move. You can be the victor in 1-1. I would do that. I would go for the win.
Well, you would go for the win, but you also end up in it like some other people who have tried to come through in the final corner, like Kailami, for example.
Yeah, probably. But you know, you got to be very sensible in this. What would you rather do? 18 points? Wait, 20 points in the championship or none?
I think 18, obviously. But, of course, we have to remember because, 28, 20, 25, 2016. So 16 points for third place. That's 24 seconds. So he's being circumspect. He's only a 4-point difference. And along the way in the championship, a lot of things might happen anyway. So, again, it's just being circumspect. He's just trying to bide his time, not to do anything crazy that will actually cost his team a valuable amount of points. As we look at further behind from 6 to 7 onwards, it looks as though the gap has actually increased by a bit. Right, Reyes has actually cleared Rayton, and it looks as though Rayton is struggling a bit for pace because Marco Wong, Chris Sung, and Ali Karudin are right behind him.
And it looks like from the front of the view of the Audi, though, it looks like Terry Rayton has some damage on the front of the car. How badly will that damage the aero of the car? I'm not so sure. But the gap between him and Russell Reyes now is 4.5 seconds, Imo.
It's a bit scuffed, don't you think? Because I think that might have been a byproduct of the collision between himself and Reyes, because he did have a bit of a ding-dong battle for 6th place at one point, but now it looks as though Rayton is fading a bit. And look at Marco Wong's car. That's even more scuffed. That's a lot of PBR damage, and yes, we call it paint-based rendering because they use that to make the damage. But that's a lot of scuff marks right in front of the car there. And all the while, Chris Sung and Ali Karudin as well looking rather tempted to actually get by that BMW, who is looking a bit faded right now.
Yeah, it does. It does look very faded right now. Chris Sung, though, on the sister Z Challenger racing car, driving the Bentley, obviously. They're not racing in the same car. Well, what can you do? You have a damaged car and your teammate is right behind you with no damage, and he's going to be very quick. I would just give the position to him knowing that he's very quick. Look how badly damaged the BMW is.
Indeed, and that might just be, well, team orders into team orders, because these are different crews, you know. Might be in the same team. It's just the impetus of whoever is leading the pack right now will actually be given first priority. And in this case, Marco Wong, who is one of the most highly sought after drivers in the field, because he is also an SRO talent in front. So I think they might just hold station for now. But they know full well that Rayton's also not that far away, so team orders might be at play, as Sung has actually lost a bit of time here. Kai Rudin now is right up to the back of him. So Rayton, oh, what's he doing?
Oh, what's he doing? Looks like Nakib Azlan. Oh my god. Is that the GT4?
No, it's a GT3, and that's actually a JMX team. That's a JMX car.
Look at that. Alif Hamilton right around the outside of turn 3, coming from Andika Rama Maulana. Oh, the JMX car, the Indonesian compatriot car, being in the middle of the way. Get out of it. You don't want to be in the middle of a fighting position.
Oh, who's that driving? That is not what they wanted. And look at that. That has actually shaken up the top 3 slightly. And Andrew O'Hara has actually gotten away.
Andrew O'Hara has gotten away.
Oh!
no!
Oh my word! That's actually a squeeze, and Avila Baha has actually been knocked out, and he actually crashes into another car as well. So Imran Zuhaili has actually been smacked out. So the JMX Phantom car, or in this case the JMX Junior car, is a real right old whacker.
Well, JMX Junior car, pushing off the JMX Phantom car. The junior team pushing off. That's like AlphaTauri getting into collision with a Red Bull. You don't want to do that. If you're Christian Horner and that happens in F1, he's gonna sack you.
No, you wouldn't be worried about Horner. You would be worried about that one-eyed Marco. He will definitely be kicking you right in the arse.
Oh my god, how badly. Oh, look at the gap now. Avila Baha, 3 seconds behind Alif Hamilton though. That compromised a lot of time for Avila Baha. He's gonna be very, very angry at Williamson Giotto there in the number 12 BMW.
Yep. Apologies for the profanity for a second, but right up the rear. Yeah. Williams Giotto then will be needed right talking to by his team manager for that one, because that was not what he wanted. And look at that. The byproduct of that is he's 2.8 seconds, 3 seconds now behind Alif. So he's caused a lot of mayhem. And worse still, he has actually shaken up the front of the field. It's now 1.7 seconds between O'Hara and Aslan.
What was a 0.9 second lead between Andy O'Hara and Nakib Aslan? Well, Williams Giotto being on the way into turn 1 compromised a lot of time for the leading 2nd, 3rd and 4th position cars, Nakib, Andika and Alif. It's very unfortunate that it happened.
Dearie me. And steady guys, we're not even half an hour through.
We're not even half an hour through. We have 3.5 hours to go.
Right. So we still have to focus. No, we're gonna go straight to the battle to Khairudin and Sung. And Sung has actually lost a lot of time to Marco Wang. How come every time we actually view the battle between these guys at the end of the top 10, if a battle's getting close, it spreads out again for some reason? And in this case, Chris Sung has actually lost about 1.6 seconds. So I think he might be backing off, Alfie.
I think this is what you want to do. You need to back off. If you don't back off, you go all the way with scrubby tires in the end. By the end of your stint, you're going to be lapping 46. You don't want that. You want to be consistently lapping in the 44s. Well, the baddest you can go is probably a 45, but I would just stay in the 44s. Yeah,
44 is an actual race pace. That is the one you want to actually be in, because that's what the leaders are doing. In fact, they're still in the 44s, so you're right about that one. The colder temperatures, well, actually not too cold, but slightly on the very cold side, is not helping out the lap times. As meanwhile, we're looking at the battle for P11, and it's held currently by Taufik Moyen in the old Audi.
Taufik Moyen in the old Audi, followed up by his JSR teammate, sister car 619, Jeremiah Woykit Lau. And who is this? 401? I think it's your car.
Yes, it is. And amazingly, JV Lai has made up 8 positions from the start. He started 21st.
Oh, you remember. Okay, so Lucas Dowd in number 103, what is it, Celsius?
Yes, no, Antipodean.
Antipodean.
Yeah, okay, we want to actually highlight this name because this name is actually probably one of the coolest names in the entire grid, because it literally means that he is Australian, because Antipodean Pole. So
but he's sharing a car with a Brazilian.
Yes, Bruno Gallo, and that's why they have these kind of funky Salazar colors.
But it looks very good though.
Oh, it is. I actually love it because it looks like the A1GP Brazil car, minus the fact that it's black instead of white. No, in fact, they did run black colors at one point towards the later end of the series. But the Antipodean car running well in 14th, and Lucas Dowd, and I've raced with him before in OR. Very fast guy, and he's in the car that he wants, because when he was in the Mercedes, he was like pretty much the next best driver aside from Andrew O'Hara.
Well, he was the best driver aside next to Andrew O'Hara. Meanwhile, let's go down the grid. We haven't really been showing these cars, so let's go down to Allen Racing. They're driven by Alexis Clapano and sharing the car together with Alan Drake Cruz. How old is Alan?
9, I think, because he's about the same age as who's that, a kid now? Axel Nocom, yeah.
Axel Nocom from the Philippines. And how old is Alexis?
Slightly older than these guys, but I think he's in his close to his 20s. I think he's still.
I think it's mid-30s.
Mid-30s?
Mid-30s. So
are you sure? Because I always thought he was a teenager.
No, it's not. So we'll go down now. Java Sim. This is a new entry. We've not seen them last year. This is a new entry driven by Billy Ebenheimer.
No, Ebenheiser.
Ebenheiser, sorry. And who is he sharing his car with though?
It's the number 906 with Randa Hafas and Gugan Wiranto. So this is a new team, but for us who've driven with him, especially in HME, Java Sim actually do Formula 1 cars and even GT3s in R Factor too. So ACC, I think, is a completely new thing for them, but not doing so bad. They're just outside the points. Only, what, about 11 seconds behind Alexis Capano. So if anything would happen to Alexis, especially with the fact that, look at that, lag spike, because I think it's not Capano, it could be Capano, it could be Drake Cruz's connection actually dropping a bit. So if it actually goes really red, that might actually compromise Capano. So these guys behind him might actually get a few free position.
Well, look at that now. Let's jump on board to the team owner of the Stratos RL car, James Russell, sharing the car with Aaron Lim. Both veteran drivers in the local motorsport scene here in Malaysia. James himself being a karter, Aaron being a karter as well. But Aaron used to race in A1GP, didn't he?
Correct. And he was the one that drove A1GP's final ever race in Brands Hatch. It started where it began, because Brands Hatch was the first scene of the A1GP race in 2005, and then after that it was the last in 2009. So Aaron Lim has the distinction of actually being the driver in that last race.
Yep, now head honcho Speed Tavern's favorite car, 79. 79 striking the Zebra livery driven by the Project G Speed Tavern.my car. I was supposed to race today in the 49 car together with Ivan and Anastas, but we decided that we're not competitive enough today, so we're gonna skip this round. Anyway,
professional excuse.
Yeah, professional excuse. 79 driven by Abdul Hakim together with Edward Wong there. And now on board to the Mean Machine car. Mean Machine, Bruneian entry. We've seen them last year. They were very competitive. Finished P6 or P7 in the last round in Spa. Abdul Hakim was behind the Aston Martin as well. So Abdul Hakim is a quick driver, but at the moment he seems to be struggling down all the way in P17.
And we're coming out now to the final car in that top 20. Sek Yin Ho for Z Challenger Racing, and I'm not sure which one. Is it Z, R, or C? Because they run different codes to differentiate the drivers. So it is R. Yeah, it's Z Racing R, Sek Yin Ho. And it's unfortunate that he's not with his teammates right up in front, but you know, still early days. We're only half an hour in. Something might still happen. Behind him, Leong in the number 999 BMW. How unlucky is that number 999 car? We see that it's always challenging for points, and last year in the Mercedes, but yet always drops behind. Okay, not the 999, but I think it was the 969 in the Mercedes.
Well, probably both vehicles flip table cars were the most competitive cars last season. So you have the laundry houses, you have the Legion of Racers who fielded 3 cars at one point. You have the Stratos cars, then, well, you can include the Speed Tavern there. We finished on the podium twice last season. Yeah. So, well, vehicles flip table, it's very strange to see them on outside of the top 20. Meanwhile, Andika Ramamalana, let's move back to the front of the grid there. Andika Ramamalana lost the position to Nakib Aslan.
2 positions, net 2 positions from where he started. So Alif now has actually gotten right in front of Nakib as well. So that might have been a switch around because of the Williamson Giotto wrecking ball incident. So really now, we are looking at Alif challenging Andrew O'Hara for the front of the grid. Unless, of course, O'Hara is actually now back into the group. He is actually almost 3 seconds ahead. He could actually just back it off a bit, save his tyres, and go to the next stint just comfortably up in front.
How much pace is Andy O'Hara saving? He's not going all out, because if he was going all out from the start of the race, then he would have been 3 seconds ahead now. But now he's pulling away in the middle point of his first stint. And what would the strategy be like? Do you stay in for another stint and you drive 2 stints continuously, or do you let your compatriot drive it?
I think he will try to go for 2, because he will for sure let Andrew Lawrenson take over afterwards. But for now, at least, he just wants to actually be in the car because he's quite comfortable. As we look at the battle between Andika Ramamalana and Nakib Aslan, Nakib goes very tight onto the inside. This is actually a good move to defend, but Rama might actually get into the inside. He has a run on him. No, he doesn't. That time around, Nakib defends well, and he still holds the nose right in front of him.
Nakib still defends very well, still stays in 3rd position, so it's a Stratos Motorsport 2 and 3. Eloado in P4, Andika Ramamalana tries to find a way past, GT4 traffic coming the way, both GT4s, the rising line, and the number JMX, almost coming into together there, Sergio No and Nakib Aslan. Nakib though looks like he is getting compromised. The battle for GT4 though, between Zikri and Sergio No, round the outside of Sergio No, tries to find a way past Mohamed Zikri. Mohamed Zikri though still stays behind him.
Yeah, it looks as though while they were trying to give way to the GT3 battle up in front, they nearly actually compromised their own. As you can see, Avila Baha also goes through. So that actually has tightened the gap up between first and second, actually, in essence, because after what happened to Andreas Wolf, this is the battle for the lead in GT4. And Zikri now will be smiling ear to ear after saying that he wanted to actually get a win for himself. And look at that, his wish is almost coming true here. He's only got a number 11 Porsche right in front. Oh, squirrely under braking there. I nearly thought he was going to ram to the back of him.
Almost almost run into the back of him. You're not supposed to do that. It's going to upset the balance of the car, and you might hit the guy ahead of you. As we can see, the right behind him is a number 311 Russell Reyes BMW M4 JMX Phantom car. Well, in the middle of all this, Russell Reyes trying to lap himself.
Well, actually lap the GT4 traffic.
GT4 traffic, yeah.
Yeah.
So now Sergio Nyo battle for P1 in the GT4 category. Sergio Nyo in the GMX Junior car and Mohamed Zikri in the Team Rising Line car. Rising Line, one of the fastest GT4 cars last season. Well, a little bit unfortunate because they finished sometimes. They haven't gotten a win, have they?
No, they haven't, but they got 2 second places of the whole last season. So they got a few and third. So they got 3 podiums. It's just that it wasn't enough for them to finish third in the championship because Kamachi came up and really upstaged them afterwards. So they want to they got vengeance in this championship. They want to get as close as possible to the front of the grid. We might have a change of commentary team here. We're going to get relieve Afiq of his duties, and he will continue on later with Alex, as Alistair Young now comes into the commentary box. And Alistair, I know you've been watching the race as we are focusing up to the battle for the lead in GT4. Oh, it's going to be very tight here. There is a laundry house coming between, and it's nearly a touch between the Audi and the Aston Martin. That was quite close. Rayton coming through the traffic like it's rush hour.
Yeah, Ndika's super close now, isn't he?
Oh, yes. But if he could nail that final sector, which Nakib has been so good so far in the battle between these two, this might just be a change for position. Or it could just stay that way if Nakib just gets a better run out of it. But for now, at least, it looks quite squirrely. That Ferrari, the green Ferrari, is quite squirrely right now, Al.
Yeah, Nakib looks like he's struggling with the car. He looks like he's got a bit of understeer on the entry, and he's also struggling a bit with the rear on the exit. It seems like he's got a decent exit out the last corner, but Ndika's closing. Nakib does not have the slipstream from Alif anymore. Alif's gone off into the distance, so he's going to have to defend here as he goes right down to the inside on the white line. Ndika moves to the left.
And it goes around the outside. Oh, that's not going to be on. He was alongside there, but unfortunately, there was no room to go through for the number 44 Ferrari, and that's it. That is the end of that battle for that one, at least on this lap. He's going to have to regroup that again, try to get it back up to the back of that number 111 222 Ferrari. It's just so annoying, isn't it, that he just can't get to the back of him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great attempt by Ndika. Oh, as Nakib gets slowed up by GT4 here. He's sideways. Ndika's on the outside.
Oh! And that's the second time we had back markers in, and not this first time we have a GT4 interrupting the battle. Okay, actually it's the second time, I guess. But now look at that, Ndika might actually try. He might actually try coming out to turn 7. Will he be through for the number 44? Oh, they're going side by side now. They touch, and Nakib goes onto the gravel. He might complain about that, and Bahar gets a free position. Al, was that almost predictable?
That was contact there. I think someone might have to take a look at Ndika, although he was alongside. So maybe Nakib should have left more room. It's hard to say from here, but yeah, Nakib's down from 3rd to 5th. He's lost the podium. He's going to have to really push now and try and make up the time.
That number 28 Veloce car, that was the one that actually caused that battle to actually come up. As we are looking at Nakib not really best pleased with that particular move. And I think because for the fact that he got bogged a bit slightly by the GT4 traffic, and he just got shoved out of the way, which also compromises his tires.
Yeah, Nakib looks angry. Look at him. He's focusing up. He's drawn in. He's got his eyes like a hawk on that next Ferrari in front of him. Yeah, you got to feel for him being bumped out like that. But rubbing his racing, as I've said 3 times now. Coming up to another GT4 here.
Oh, wow. And there we go. Marco 1 just finally got stop and go cleared, but unfortunately that's too late to save his race. As about the gap up in front, 9/10 of a second. So it was a good thing that Alif managed to clear both Ndika and Nakib, because he gets to actually get up to the back of Andrew O'Hara. This is now the battle of the lead. We're rubbing our hands here. This is the one that we wanted to watch. How one of the best drivers in ERGP with 3 titles in Global Edition going up against the last year's champion in Global Edition. This is the battle of the Titans, Al.
Yeah, and he's gained another 10th through Sector 1. And Alif Hamilton is pushing it right now. And O'Hara is just going to have to keep it together before the pit stops.
Yeah, he's going to have to keep it together then, because we saw just now, in terms of lap time, look at that, 45.4 on our timing screen, last time out for O'Hara, 44.8 for Alif. He gained 7/10, almost close to 7/10 of a second that time.
Yeah, and Alif is not that far off his delta at the moment. He's closing. Another 10th here. He's 7/10 away from Andrew O'Hara. It's coming down consistently. We'll see what it is when he crosses the line, but Alif is really in the zone right now.
Oh, he is, and he is. It's a bit ironic that he is driving well, actually, he's driving car number 111, which is the Stratos car, but he's driving a Ferrari, as opposed to if it's a Mercedes. We say Hamilton and a Mercedes, in this case, it's Hamilton and a Ferrari.
Yeah, and O'Hara's actually making a couple mistakes here. You know, missing an apex here, apex there. Alif is close, and O'Hara is struggling, it seems.
Indeed, he is, and another drive-through there for car number 28. First drive-through for car 28, another drive-through in this race. So, unfortunate for him, lap 27. As we look at now the battle for the lead, Alif right up to the back of O'Hara. Will it be a move this time? No, he doesn't, but he's really in that slipstream right now. 0.3 of a second that time. Will it be a maneuver in this lap, Al?
I mean, that was 0.5 in that third sector we just saw. That was really impressive from Alif, and he seems to be perfectly fine in the dirty air here. So, I think we could be seeing a move next lap or even the lap after.
Coming up now to turn number 5. We're going to see whether or not he could actually claw this deficit of only about 0.2 of a second. It was 0.3 on the line, now it's 0.2. And we got massive amount of traffic right in front. This could play into Alif's hands here.
Yeah, I mean, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen here. Look at that. 2 GT4s and some slow GT3s there.
Oh, he's coming through rush hour traffic. It's almost like going through the Federal Highway in the Klang Valley here. That is just how close it is to destruction between these two guys. But luckily, they kept it together. Now they got equally fast GT3 traffic. This is going to play into Alif's hands again. If he can actually just slink his way past, they're going to go through the gap. Oh, there's a GT3 car. That's actually one of the Mean Machine cars coming through in the Lamborghini. And another one right in front. That's a GT3 as well, as they go through turn 10.
Oh, super late from Alif on the brakes, but look at him dodging and diving the traffic. Here's another GT4. O'Hara's going to stick behind, I think, play it smart. Oh, he's going to go around the outside.
And that's the leader for GT4. He's going to go for the inside. Oh, he's trying to do Nigel Mansell from Hungary 1989, where he got one over Senna. But that time around, it looks as though he didn't have enough momentum to go through. But that was quite smart because he doesn't want to stick around the outside. He might just have a collision. But that was the race leader for GT4, nearly causing destruction.
Yeah, risky move there, but, you know, it's paid off. He's still close behind O'Hara, and he's still within 0.5. So that's really good job from both of them, you know, sticking close together through the traffic. Alif's got slipstream. That's all I got to say. You know, O'Hara's alone up in front. There's no train for him, so Alif's got the advantage here.
Advantage in terms of what? Tires, or the fact that the balance of the car seems to be in his favor?
Seems to be a bit better on the nose for Alif. O'Hara again missing an apex through 3 there. Maybe just struggling with the front tires coming off because he was pushing a bit too much earlier on in the stint.
Ooh, now look at that. That might just be a move on here coming out to turn 6. O'Hara sees it, and O'Hara knows he's behind him as car number 28. The Veloci Ragazzo GT4 has actually gotten their drive-through cleared. But never mind that. We're looking up to the battle between first and second, and O'Hara knows he's there. He knows full well that he's got a fast-charging green Ferrari right behind him, and Alif Hamilton wants to actually get that lead badly right now so that he could start the season off on a high.
Yeah, lean, green, mean machine coming up behind O'Hara. 0.2. Ammo, it's close, isn't it? It's close.
It is absolutely close. And look at that. Rama has actually cleared Nakib. Sorry, he's already cleared Nakib, but he's actually coming up now to the shot. So how many seconds? 3 seconds. So if these two were to go at it hammer and tongs, that might actually bring Nika back into play. It'll be a 3-way fight between 3 teams at the front of the grid. This is crazy stuff.
Yeah, crazy indeed. You know, it's really interesting seeing Alif here behind O'Hara. He just seems to be driving a bit tighter, you know, using less distance. Let's see the exit coming out of here. O'Hara pulls away, but maybe the slipstream down the straight's going to help Alif. 0.3 now.
I don't think it's enough because we know just now that if you cross the line by at least 0.2, you get another slipstream. Look, O'Hara actually got a slightly better exit that time, and he could only just close up reeling slightly. It's like a very big fish that you can't reel back. And look at that. O'Hara manages to clear ahead of Alif that time around, and he still stays in the lead by just about, what, 0.2 of a second there, Al?
Yeah, 0.3 now, I think. Alif will be closing more and more here. You can see that he is just using a bit less distance on the exits. He's able to plant the power and use less distance, and that's why he's closing the gap on the exit. Not so much on the entry, because O'Hara's braking really late. Because he's struggling with the front, he has to brake late, kill the speed, and get the car rotated and get on the power. That's how he's got to drive it right now, and he's just got to try and survive till the pit stops.
Well, you sound like a live telemetry feed because you can almost, as if you can see the traces coming onto the screen right now between these two. That's a really bit of analysis that we really would like to hear about it because it's a driver's point of view. And right now, we're in the driving seat here from O'Hara, looking back to Alif. And it's only 2.10s right now coming out to Sector 2. If Sector 3 then, it's up to at least about less than 2.5 tenths, Alif might have a chance.
For sure, for sure. He looks super close now. Half his car's being blocked by that rear wing, so we know he's close. We can see him under the rear wing, so we know he's even closer. And yeah, that's like 2 tenths hitting into the third sector. Let's see how close Alif can get.
Well, it said just now coming out to the second sector timing beam there, it was about close to 3 tenths, but it's 2 tenths within that 2 tenths. So will he be able to get through as we have first of the pit stops, car number 120, Felix Young for the TVRL team, the Taiwan Virtual Racing League team, into the pit. So I think it's pit stop time right now for some of these guys. As we look at O'Hara coming out of the final corner, I think Alif's lost it slightly. Oh, he's almost lost it there. He actually touched the gravel. And now that might give an opportunity for Alif to actually get into the slipstream. Will it be an opportunity for the number 111 to get by here? And he goes onto the inside defense. Alif goes even further in. Will it be close? He's going to get a line onto the inside. He's almost doing a Sebastian Vettel on Valtteri Bottas in 2017. Punches his way through. And he takes the lead of the race. That one mistake from O'Hara was enough to get a whiff for Alif to get into the lead. What a move there from Alif Hamilton.
Terrible mistake from O'Hara. I can't believe he managed to dip a wheel on the gravel there. Just killed all his momentum down the straight and he had to defend. But O'Hara didn't use all the space, which means Alif just dummied him and went even further down the inside. Move done. A bit of argy-bargy on the entry, but that's fine. And Alif is now in the lead 5 tenths clear.
Oh wow, what a move. As we have a car drive through, that was actually Felix Young who came through. Now it's actually his teammate taking over, so car number 130. I think the pit lane here, someone might have knocked the braking marker to actually get through into the pit lane, so that's why we're getting some drive-throughs here. So anybody who's coming into the pits now might just have to be a bit cautious. Anyway, back to the front. Oh, there we go. More drive-throughs. 777, that's the Homa Beer racing car. They got a drive-through. And car number 252, that's the FSA racing car as well for drive-through in the pit lane. I think somebody might have knocked out the corner markers as we look at my car being driven by JVLI right now, ahead by only 4 tenths of Tafi Moyenez. Oh, Chris! That's actually Alexis Clapano going onto the inside of Lucas Dow for the Interpedia Motorsports car, and he makes the move mistake. But that again is argy-bargy, and you don't normally overtake there in a GT3 car. And Dow, look at that. He might not be best pleased by that, Al.
Yeah, and all the Pro-Am cars quite close together here. We're going to be seeing a pretty tight battle coming soon. Of course, with that 103 Mercedes there, just kind of gapping them out a bit as they're hitting the GT4 traffic. Oh, it's a great bunch of cars here fighting.
Oh, indeed. And the amount of manufacturers that we have has that's a nice looking anime car right beside there. I wonder whose team is that. JVLI then with a good recovery. In fact, story of the race for him. He started P22, I think. He was at the tail end of the top 20, and now he's up to P10. What a great recovery drive from the Singaporean. And he said that he was a little bit, that Sergio No actually holding up Taufik Moyen slightly, so that's gonna compromise the rest of the field coming through. That will give JV breathing space, but JV said that he had a bit of stage fright, kept going wide at the final corner and invalidated his faster lap time, so that's why the blue steel car wasn't as high as it's supposed to be. But now, P10, what a recovery, Al.
Yeah, great recovery, you know, points is where you want to be, and let's see if they can make any more moves up. Next car for them is 8 seconds ahead, so it's a far away, but it's a 4-hour race. Let's see if the pace keeps up.
And let's see if that pace keeps up. As we see that this is the lead of the Pro-Am category with Taufik Moyen, with his teammate Mohamed Shazwan due to take over pretty soon. But I think most of the heavy lifting will be done by Taufik to actually get that car up. As we have yellow flags at the final sector. It looks as though it's one of the FSA Racing Audis and is in the GT4 class. So he might have been in a collision as we are not looking at it right now. But yellow flags there in that final sector as the leaders are coming through. That was Alif just about clearing it safely.
Yeah, and we got a lot of drive-through stop-goes going on right now. So, as usual in endurance racing, as you get to the pit stops, that's where hell breaks loose, and that's what's going on now. As we see, you know, cars gaggling together, coming out the pits on cold tires, probably making mistakes. This is where the race gets even more interesting.
Indeed, and I think again, I stand by that theory that someone might have knocked into the corner, into the marker that says 50 km/h speed limit, and people missed their marks completely. So that might be a warning to the drivers that if they want to enter the pits, they have to stop as soon as possible. Otherwise, we might risk seeing the entire field getting drive-throughs.
Oh, I hope they can see the white line and hopefully keep to it.
And there's the car. That's the car in question. That's the number 252 FSA Racing car. And I'm not sure who's driving right now. That might be still Imran Zuhaili, I think. No, it's Imran Zuhaili's in the number 444 car. The number 252 car still stuck there and causing an unnecessary yellow flag. In fact, Azwan Anwar was the one that was driving at the start of the race. So something might have happened to the car or his equipment that caused him to actually be stuck there. As, we can get to the bottom of that later. Right now, we're looking at a battle for the lead in GT4 with Zikri and Sergio Nor up with just only 0.8 of a second separate between them. I think it's about 1 second now. Yep, 1.1 seconds across the line. This battle's been close, and Zikri now will be smiling. Well, he's smiling right now. I was about to say he'll be smiling all the way to the bank, knowing the fact that he is up on the podium and he will start his season quite strongly.
Yeah, and we know Zikri's got great pace because earlier on in the race, you saw him take to the gravel, lose a couple seconds to Sergio No, and now he's right there within a second.
Indeed, that's a good callback there to how Zikri actually, well, we thought he's going to lose it completely after that because his tires got really mucked up. But now, he holds onto the inside line to let the other GT3 cars through. It's a bit messy right now because it's slightly converging with the amount of traffic. And more drivers are coming to the pit stop because we're coming up to the 1 hour mark now.
Yeah, 1 hour mark. Cars will be running on empty. Drivers are probably running on empty by now. So, yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see driver changes and... actually, you know, some of the guys at the top might be double stinting. You never know.
Indeed. But not double stinting on tires because apparently the tires don't last as long as compared to our LMP2 cars that we've driven before. As this is the battle for Pro-Am. Taufik is still ahead of Alexis Calpano. And Calpano then, imagine if they get a win first time out against some of the faster guys in the GT3 class. And Alan Drake Cruz will become one of the youngest ever winners in Endurance Edition.
Yeah, Calpano in the Lamborghini, you know, I think the only one on the grid so far, and it's going strongly just outside the points. Sorry, one of the two on the grid so far, but it's going strong just under the points and really pressuring Taufik as he enters the pits. Okay, so Pro-Am, the lead is in the pits now. What is Calpano going to do? Is he going to answer next lap, or is he just going to try and extend the fuel as much as possible?
Yeah, interesting question there because I'm not sure how the Lamborghini does in terms of race pace, but I know for a fact that it's very skittish when it's light, so you might have to pit as soon as possible once the tires run out. As we look at a battle further behind, this is the rather hapless Leon as number 21. That's actually Bernard Chance's car. So the Academy car, champions from last season in GT4, have gotten a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane. And again, Al, I think I'm standing by the theory. Someone might have knocked into the marker that says a pit lane penalty, and everyone's getting a penalty right now.
Maybe the next time someone boxes, we're going to have to ride on board to double-check that theory. But yeah, unfortunate for Bernard Chan, you know, he's made the step up to GT3s now.
And
unfortunate for him.
Unfortunately indeed, but that's pretty much pan and parcel. There's the braking marker. Yep. Okay, it seems it's on our broadcast it's seen, but in the driver's views it may vary. Some might have, some might not have.
Tricky. As we see James entering the pits here, gonna box. Is he the pro for this car?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so possibly we could see him double stint here, because obviously in a Pro-Am car you'd want the pros to go for as long as possible because they are the quicker drivers, and then the AMs come in for one stint.
Yep, his co-driver Art Vanderley he made his debut at the end of last season in Spa, so he has driven before. But I think because James has more experience in ACC, he is driving the full length of the stint fast. Right now, into the pits goes Naki Bazlan, while Alif stays out in front of O'Hara by about a second. This is the key one that we need to watch out for. Will a change of tires and a full tank of fuel help out this car number 222, which has struggled towards the end of the Al?
Yeah, tires definitely, driver possibly, I'm not sure. Knowing Nakib and Nabil, I think they'll be fine double stinting if they want to. But the thing is, has Nakib got damage from that bump with Andika earlier on? And, you know, damages might come into play here because Andika's had 2 hits with 2 Stratos cars. Alif and Nakib have had 1 bump each. We could be seeing some damage coming into here.
Indeed. And unfortunately, we're not looking at the pit stop right now because we're focusing on the battle up in front. But if he actually fixes the car, that might lose him a net 2 to 3 seconds out on track, if it's a 2 to 3 second damage, because it could be, yep, there we go, 30 seconds on the mark. So I think he didn't fix the damage at all. He's just going to continue with it.
Well, let's see. He's going to come out the pits here. He'll be waiting for those other 4 Ferraris to box. He needs to push hard now if he wants to get an advantage on Avila and Andika.
Yep, and the pit stop has dropped him right behind. Guess what? His team boss, James Russell.
I'm pretty sure James will make it too difficult for him, but I know Nakib now is probably going to be running in map 1 in that Ferrari, pushing as hard as possible to try and make up the deficit on those brand new tires.
Indeed. And, who's that coming up right behind? That looks like one of the BMWs. It is. It's Dafa Nabil. Oh, that's a lot of time lost, actually. Look at the net time gained by the number 311 to the number 222. That actually is a lot of time lost on the in-lap.
It is indeed. Interesting. Maybe... Oh, I'm not sure.
Maybe he fixed the damage after all.
Yeah, maybe they didn't drive a change for sure, right? Oh,
yeah.
As Alif and O'Hara go into the pits.
And Bahar.
And Bahar. Interesting.
So
interesting seeing the top 2 come in at the same time.
mirroring the strategy. All the while then, Andika Malana goes on his merry way about an hour and 4 minutes into the race. So look at that. Despite all the wars that the car has been through, this one's still going on.
Yeah, that Ferrari behind him doesn't look so hot. Maybe needs another paint job. But yeah, Andika in the lead now, you know, back to a familiar place for him. He's going to be pushing really hard in the clean air. He was doing really good catching O'Hara earlier on. Here's Alif, net race leader, technically, coming out of the pits, trundling down the pit lane. We see O'Hara there. O'Hara's moving. That's a great stop from O'Hara.
Oh, I think that's because the factor is the damage. Damage might have come into play.
And he's jumped Alif.
Wow.
So there was damage from those moves.
Indeed, it might have cost about 1 or 2 seconds, but that 1.1 or 2 seconds is enough for Andy O'Hara to retake the lead away, the net race lead from AR Muhammad Ali. But we have to wait and see whether or not the pit stop for Andika and the extension of his stint is enough to keep that lead from him. This is really good strategy at play here. Different strategies coming to play for all these teams up in front.
Yeah, it's a super close fight for the lead. That's exactly what we want. It's what we got also last year at Barcelona. So it's great to see that again. And yeah, these guys are the top of the eRacing scene here in Asia. And Andika into the pits. Okay, so that's the last of the net top 5 in the pits now. Let's see where he comes out. Andika's going to be really interesting here because he's the last one into the box.
Yep, so we have to jump back to the car number 1. We'll wait until car 44 actually stops at his box. That's second place in the race right now, but we're now focusing on Ali Karudin in car 369. He might still be in that battle for the top 10 later on as car 16, that's James Russell, has actually gotten a stopping off Ali for speeding in the pit lane, and Alistair is jumping in his seat and like looking a little bit, well, disconsolate, I guess.
Unlucky boss. Yeah, here we go. Alif and Andrew nice and close again. The Laundry House versus Stratos, pushing.
So that's Lawrenson. So Lawrenson has actually got to the car, so we missed that. So our apologies for that. So it's Lawrenson who has actually swapped drivers with O'Hara, and he's back in the car all the while then battling with Alif, who is actually a seasoned stint, we can safely say, because he's driven already a stint. Now he's into his second. Where is Andika coming up between these three? Coming out of the final corner as Lawrenson in front of Alif. Rama, I think he's already moving. He's moving right now. He's coming up back onto the track. The extra lap that he had on track, will it be enough to maintain the lead? There is his indicator on the track. He's taking the lead. He has actually maintained the lead of the race.
So the overcut's done it. So the overcut is the way to go here in Barcelona. And the important thing for Andika is that he went in a lap after these guys, which means he's going to be able to go another lap after these guys next box.
Indeed. Wow-wee. So we didn't expect this. It's either overcut, undercut, or be pretty much on the hour. We're not really sure, but right now, after the first round of pit stops, it's the overcut that paid off, and for Andika is the lead of the race after being in so much of the action between the two Stratos cars.
You can see him giggling to himself, laughing. He's got a big smile, but he can't be too, joyful right now because there are two Ferraris right behind him pushing like hell.
Indeed, and well, it's not much of a smile. It looks more like a sneer, to be honest. He's like, yes, I might even got.
It looks like worry now.
Yes. Oh, now he's changing the worry. So he's got what they call a mix of emotions.
Yeah.
It's basically like, okay, I'm in the lead, but right now, catharsis. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. It's a bit of catharsis. It was happy, but now it's actually just a mix of feeling of unease right now, knowing the fact that he has to actually hold up these guys.
Yeah, so a bit of a roller coaster, but. As Andika's talking to someone, I'm guessing, one of the team managers, maybe an engineer.
Maybe Nigel.
Maybe Nigel. Yeah, he's got to think now. His tyres should be up to temp now, pushing really hard. Good job on the outlap. Oh, Laundry House and Stratos right in the tail. And Stratos right on the back of that turquoise car as Andika hits a GT4. It's going to be a great fight for the top 3.
Indeed,
now, where is Baha and Nakib?
Bahar is about 3.5 seconds behind Alif, so Alif is right there. But look at that, Nakib lost so much time. In fact, I saw just now 7.8 seconds. As he crossed the line, it is going to be 7.5. So he's gained a bit of time, but that's a lot of time lost from fixing the damages.
Yeah, so a lot of time lost. Unlucky for Nakib, but he's going to push hard now. He's got some clean air, and let's see what he can do. So just remember, 7.5 off Bahar, and Bahar's 3.5 off Alif.
Indeed. So, Bahar, if he actually manages to catch up to them, because it might be due to the fact that these guys are going to battle as hard as they could like the first stint. So, 3.4 seconds, that's not so much time to... That's a little bit of time to make up. But you have to take into account, he was in the gravel earlier from being pushed up by his sister team car.
Indeed. And you looking at these two. Sorry, I'm just moving to Leaf and Lawrenson here. Lawrenson's just jumped into the car, so he's going to be a couple laps getting used to it, figuring out where the grip is on track, how much rubber's gone down, and where it can push. And that's why I think we see a Leaf closing so easily. We'll see how it goes in a couple minutes, but these three are going to be in one hot firefight in a second.
Indeed it is. It's like Fire Force. So, looking at it right now, this is the top three in question. 44, 1 and 111. Legion Racers, Laundry House, and Stratos all leading the way here. Stratos Flash, to be exact, because it's a partnership with Flash, Team Flash. But yeah, it's close between these three, and it could be a quad after this, because look at it, Avila Baha is just closing slightly by about a tenth or so this lap, Al.
Yeah, Baha's there. If these three fight enough, we could see the Ferrari Challenge groupies jumping back together and fighting again. But yeah, Alif, what do we think? Too far still. We know that 3 tenths is too far down this main straight. He needs to be at least 2 to be able to make a move down the inside.
Yep, 0.2 of a second, as we saw just now how Alif made that move brilliantly on O'Hara as a stop and go penalty, 30 seconds for Leon. So the day for Wekos has actually gotten even worse now for a team that battled for the championship for about 5 of the 6 races last year to fade towards that final end of the season. So really then, not a good start to the season for that particular team.
Yeah, look at Alif right underneath that rear wing of that Ferrari. He might be able to make a move down to the inside here as he does take a look. He's braking late. He's going down the inside. He's made the corner, and that's a great move for second place by Alif. Caught him napping right down the inside. Got off the brake nicely, and that was a brilliant move. Now he's set his eyes on Molana, and he's going to be pushing hard now.
Absolutely. And that was almost shades of Michael Schumacher overtaking Jean Alesi back in 96 during that wet race. Absolutely identical maneuver to the point that he just shoves him slightly, eases him out of the corner to get the position, but it was fair. That's a fair maneuver there, Al. And Alif then on a roll here, and he's got the shackles of being in national service out of the way to actually focus on his driving.
Yeah, look at Alif. Discipline, focus. He knows what he has to do. 3-time champion, as we know, here in the RGP. So he's a great driver. 2 seconds off Milano. We'll keep an eye on that gap. But now Lawrenson will be woken up at least. You know, he's been caught napping. He's going to be really pushing hard now.
Indeed he would. And look at how much that camera was vibrating. I think he just went over the curb for a second there.
Yeah.
It just translated to the real world. So then, this is the battle now for second place between Alif and Lawrenson. We jump to the battle for the lead. Well, actually, it's not a battle for the lead. It's the leader in the Pro-Am class in front of Bruno Gallo. Alan Drake Cruz, the 9-year-old. I hope we have a camera of him because we can see how much of how young that kid is to drive in this race. Yeah, good start for them. They were actually at the tail end of that top 20 as well. They made their way through the grid too, Al.
Yeah, and Alan is the AM, if I'm not mistaken, in this car.
Yep.
So this will be an important stint from him. You know, first time in GT3, he's just got to keep it clean, get through the lap cars nicely, and try not to lose too much time, and he'd be doing a perfect job for his team. And
unfortunately, we don't have a zoom camera of Alan, but either way, the entire Philippines will be willing him on to actually finish first in Pro-Am. So there's, in essence, 3 races in one whole race. First being the Pro class, second is the Pro-Am class, and third is the GT4 class. So right now, the black-colored box is the Pro-Am leader and is being led by Allen Racing, making their debut in this race. And they will be all over the social media flooding with the tags right now, looking at that they're leading this category.
Yeah, Taufik here, interesting in the Audi. He lost quite a bit of time after the pit stops.
Indeed.
He was at the front just before, but now he's 2 seconds behind.
He was about 5 times a second behind the 401 Blue Steel car, so I think he might have been in the wars as well. It might have been a bit of damage and a very poor in-lap to compound the misery. He is now well behind there, outside of that top 10. Meanwhile, leader in GT4 is Mohammed Zikri, about 1.6 seconds ahead of now Peter Key, the Australian, who is a highly fancied driver in the SRO series as well.
So we know Zikri was quick. He stayed in for a second stint here, and we've seen him now take the lead. So great job by him as the M4 goes down the inside there.
Ooh, the Techco car, and that's a real world car as well. That might be was it Ruben? No, it's Ruben Wong. No, it's not Ruben Wong. It's Faiz. I can't see which one. Triple A. Chow Fung Pang. Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Lim in that Ferrari going slightly wide there, and super narrow into the chicane. Again, brand new driver in the car, so probably getting used to it as well.
Indeed, because as you say yourself, because endurance racing, once you're in that zone, you just want to keep the same driver so that the same momentum could be kept. So some of these guys, some of these guys that change drivers, it might just be a bit of a culture shock, knowing that the grip may not be where they want it to be.
Exactly. So yeah, normally in a 4-hour race split between two drivers, you want to do 2 stints, one driver, and then 2 stints the other driver, just so that you don't break up any momentum.
Indeed, and currently the proof is in the pudding here between Lawrenson and O'Hara. That's a pace difference. As fastest lap of the race now belongs to Andika Ramamalana, 43.6. Some of the guys in qualifying barely managed 43 themselves, let alone in the race. So the pace is there.
Yeah, Andika's really pushing. He did make a extra lap compared to the other drivers, so maybe running less fuel, although I find it unlikely. Great driving by him. He's got the bit between his teeth, doesn't he?
Indeed, and the catharsis is now has gone away here for Andika Ramamalana as he comes up through the chicane. He was smiling for a second. Now he's actually grimacing a bit. He knows full well that the job's still not done yet. Coming out of the final corner now and starts another lap here.
Welcome back to the Endurance Edition Round 1 though. My name is Mama Afiq and alongside me is Alistair Yong. And breaking news, race leader Andika Ramamalana, racing in the number 44 Ferrari Legion of Racers, has gotten a drive-through for track limits warning. So the race leader, he was the quickest guy on the grid, has a drive-through, Alistair.
I'm speechless. Andika, what have you done? You're in the lead. You were clear. That's a terrible mistake, and he's definitely not smiling anymore. Yeah, he's just going to really have to push, but no matter what, that drive-through is going to cost him, and he's going to be out of the top 5 for sure. Car 44 and car 222 side by side. 4 drifted out after hitting the curb and pushed 222 out. So this was in reference to the move on Nakib earlier on in the race, not giving Nakib any room on the exit, and that's why he's got a drive-through.
And this was a statement made by the race steward himself today, Razmin Razli. And for that move, Andika has gotten a drive-through in the opening part of in the race. Alif, on the other hand, will become your race leader once Andika has pitted due to his collision and that drive-through. Alif, so technically Alif is your new race leader now in the number 111 Stratos Motorsport car. Andrew Lawrenson, on the other hand, though, 3 seconds behind Alif. He doesn't look like he can get closer. Alif has to pull away now that he's going to have clear air.
Yeah, so Lawrenson's lost some pace, he's lost 3 seconds there. But most importantly, Bahar is 3 tenths behind Lawrenson. That fight is coming, and they're right close between each other. Nakib Aslan, the 222 Stratos car that we saw in second place earlier on in the race, he's lost a lot of time, but here's the battle at the moment for the podium. Bahar and Lawrenson coming into turn 1. There's a 4 tenths difference.
Well, roughly 4 tenths difference. It's actually 3.5 tenths difference. Avila Bahar, though, putting the pressure on Andrew Lawrenson. Well, Avila Bahar got taken out by his GT3 compatriot in the number 12 JMX Juniors car, driven by Williamson Giotto. So a little bit unfortunate there, but now he is in the podium position technically once Andika has pitted. Avila Bahar, though, looks try to get and do one better from Andrew Lawrenson.
Yeah, so what's the rule here? Andika has to box within 3 laps, if I'm not mistaken, of the drive-through being called, correct?
Well, he's supposed to do that in 3 laps, but at the moment, according to the race control, he has 1 lap to do so. So if he does not pit in at the end of this lap, Andika Maulana and Legion of Racers, the sole entry by Legion of Racers this year, will get disqualified. Meanwhile, though, Alif Hamilton is your new race leader. Well, what would Andika do? He has to pit, doesn't he?
Apparently he's got 2 more laps to make this decision. But if I was him, I'd try and take the drive-through as soon as possible so you can make a start on, putting the positions back.
Yep, you should.
Especially since he's hitting traffic here.
Yeah, he should pit. And now with
So,
Andika Biggs,
yeah.
Andika boxes now. Andika boxes for his drive-through penalty. Now, where would he come out? Probably in P7, probably in P8. We never know. Andika Maulana now into the pits as your race leader now is Alif Hamilton. And look at that, Avila Bahar and Andrew Lawrenson battling out for P2. Avila Bahar, though, 4 tenths behind Andrew Lawrenson, so he doesn't look like he can get the job here.
Yeah, it's going to be close. I think Yeah, Avila's just got to play it a bit smart, you know, keeping good pressure on Lawrenson, but he's got to be smart about keeping his front tire pressures in check. Because I know the surface temps on that front left here around Barcelona is really, really tough to control. As Andika exits the pits, he's on the move now. Let's see where he comes out. He's going to be close to Nakib Aslan. Possibly, not quite.
Where is Nakib? Well, Nakib is right ahead. Well, Andika,
Nakib's already gone.
Yeah, Nakib's already gone. Andika is... Where is Andika? Andika is right behind the number 311, Dafan Nabielka. So Andika, that drive through, cost him P1, and now he's all the way down to P6.
Yes, it's a really tough one to take from Andika, but it is a 4-hour race. We got 2 hours and 35 minutes to go. There's a lot that can happen. And, you know, Andika's experience, he's a good driver. He's just got to keep his head down and keep moving.
And shout out today to our sponsors, Xbox, Sunway, Motorsport Playground, and Life Apparels, who's right here though, who's done our shirts, and they're very comfortable, I can tell you that. Meanwhile, back to the race, Andika Rama Maulana in P6. I always get that mixed up because it says that A Maulana, so it's not his full name, which is very confusing.
Yeah, well, let's see how far he is behind Nabil. 5 seconds as he enters the exit, enters sector 3 around this hairpin here. Let's move down to the GT Pro class. Taufik Moin is back in the lead, gone into the lead now, and he's cleared by 6 seconds. So what's gone on there for Alan Cruz?
It looks like Alan Cruz there probably made a mistake. Look at that. The Lamborghini looks a little bit scuffed at the front there. Alan Drake Cruz a little bit inconsistent. He was lapping 45.7 the previous lap. So it's not the best lap from him. It's not the quickest either. But he is 6 seconds behind race leader in Pro-Am category, Taufik Mokin. Meanwhile, onto the GT4 category, we have Muhammad Zikri in the number 57. Oh, apologies. We have Peter Key in the number 11. JMS Junior's GT4 Porsche Cayman. And Peter Key made up a position on Muhammad Zikri, so probably a little bit, a change of position in the pits just now.
Yeah, well, Zikri came out of the pits in the lead, but now he's behind, so yeah, the number 11 car back up into the lead.
Yeah, number 11 car back up to the lead as we saw a glimpse of Andrew Lawrence's Ferrari right up ahead. Was that the number? Yeah, it is. It's Avila Bahar. So the number 10 of Avila Bahar has moved up a position up to P2. Andrew Lawrence has dropped down a position again. Not the best start for Andrew at the moment, but he's new into the car. He's just jumped on board the car. Oh, Andrew Lawrence getting close to the number 10 Avila Bahar car, and the Laundry House looks competitive. Was leading the race and is now down up to P3.
Yeah, Andrew Lawrence obviously slightly slower than his teammate O'Hara, but he's still doing an alright job, keeping it in the podium positions, and he's just got to keep it under Avila's rear wing here. If he can do that, he's going to be put in a really good position over the pit stops again. As we see him on the VR, probably one of the few drivers using VR. For me, it gives me a headache. I'm not sure about you, but yeah. That's actually kind of cool.
It's actually kind of cool, and he's actually wearing a seatbelt as well. So why does he do that?
Yeah, safety first. Safety first. Whenever you enter a car, whether it be on the sim or in real life, don't forget your seatbelts. And that is the lesson today.
That is a lesson today, but I've read something. So if you wear your seatbelt while you're driving in the sim, it limits the movement, your body movement. So the less body movement that you have, the more stationary you'll be onto your seat. Thus, making you move that much. Not move that much per se.
That's interesting. I never thought about that. I mean, in real life is when I use seatbelts normally, and yeah, it's just so I don't go flying through the windshield most of the time.
But in Andrew Lawrence's case, how tight is his seatbelt? Looks tight, doesn't it?
It looks tight, but he can move still, to be fair.
Well, he can move still, but look, his arms are moving, but not his body.
Yeah,
so
he's definitely planted in that seat.
Yeah, so he's definitely planted in the seat. So the only thing that's moving is his arms and elbows, because you gotta steer the car, obviously.
And feet, hopefully.
Yeah. So it's very interesting that Andrew Lawrence is one of the few drivers who's using a VR system, and is also wearing a seatbelt, trying to mimic and replicate that, real life racing. Meanwhile, we'll jump on board to, we'll still stay on board Andrew Lawrence as we go ahead on the timetable. R. Muhammad Alif though in P1. Avila Bahai in the number 10 JMX Phantom car in P2. Andrew Lawrenson, who's at the bottom right of the screen there, is in P3, in the one of the few guys running VI at the moment. The Aslan brothers though in P4, with their fastest lap time being a 1:44 flat. Dafa Nabia in the, well, it's a Ferrari 1-2-3-4, and then you have a BMW in P5 driven by the Dafa Nabia and Russell Reyes shared car, and Andika Maulana, race leader for quite a few laps, and you know, now in P6 after that drive-through. Yeah, back to Andika Rama Maulana. The gap now is 1.1 second. The Singaporean Legion of Racers team chasing down the Malaysian car driven by the Aslan brothers, shared by the Aslan brothers in the number 111 Stratos Sam 9 Ferrari.
Wow.
Sorry, number 222 Stratos Sam 9 Ferrari. It gets confusing because, you know, same cars.
Yeah, and Andika's already, you know, showing his nose to the inside, maybe trying to psych out Nakib a little bit. But he's going to have to do better than that as he closes up 4/10 now behind Nakib. Oh.
And
could Nakib be double stinting tyres? Is that why he's lost so much time over the last 2 stints?
I have no
Surely
idea.
not, right?
Surely not, because Nakib pitted for tyres. I think it was the damage that he got with Andika Maulana in the first hour of the race that, you know, that gave him extensive damage, and he had to repair, and he has to repair those damage. But Andika Rama Maulana, the gap between him and Nakib Azan is 0.4 of a second. Andika, will he make a move down the inside, coming to turn 1 a little bit further back? I wouldn't make the move here. Andika being the smart guy, backing off.
Let's see how much he can close. Andika coming to turn 3. Nakib and Alif are both very good here, fighting to get to the left for turn 3 and really opening up the corner. But Andika's just managed to get on the power slightly earlier, and we can see that Nakib's going to have to defend here maybe. Or is Andika not close enough? Andika is close enough. Andika has shown his nose. And I don't know why Nakib didn't defend, but that's Andika through on Nakib Aslan.
It's a little bit weird seeing Nakib not defending there. Nakib should defend, but nevertheless, Andika has moved up a position. So it took him, what, 20 minutes to overtake Nakib?
17, I think.
17 minutes to overtake Nakib. Andika Maulana is flying. Hopefully, when Nigel Chua jumps into the car, he can match Andika's pace and probably challenge for the win with only 2 hours to go.
Yeah. Great recovery so far. He's doing exactly what he's had to do, exactly what he's needed to do. And 8 seconds to the Laundry House car. We know the Laundry House car was as quick as Nakib, you know, give or take. He might be on top of that. Oh, but he's got a pit, doesn't he?
He's got a pit.
I
Everyone's
reckon.
got a pit.
Yeah, I reckon Andika's going to pit in the next 15 minutes, because he came in at 55 last time, so I think he can extend another 5 minutes.
Chester Lam in the number 69 Z Challenger car. So what happened there between Chester Lam and Muhammad Taufik Mohin though? Taufik Mohin dives on the inside coming to turn 1. There you see Bruno Gallo in the Orthopedian and Mercedes AMG Evo car. Taufik Mohin looks like, oh, there you go. So a little bit of love tap by Chester Lam onto Taufik Mohin, and Chester Lam has to wait out and let all those cars lap themselves. So almost collecting the number 79 Project G Speed Tavern.my car there. And Chester Lam, well, he should have backed off after Taufik has overtaken him.
Yeah, it was a bit like David versus Goliath, you know, the Bentley versus the tiny little Audi, and the Bentley came off worse, surprisingly.
Bentley did came off worse, and he should back off because race leader AR Mohammad Alif is right behind him. He has to back off. If he doesn't back off, Alif can protest and he's going to get a penalty, which will make the number 69 car stay from bad to worse.
Yeah, Alif killing it right now with the consistency, pulling a really good gap on Avila Baha. I think it's around 8 seconds. It is 8 seconds exactly, actually. And yeah, he's just cutting through traffic like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, he is cutting through traffic through hot knife to butter. As we can see, we jump on board the tree cam between us commentators, AR Mama Alif on the bottom right of your screen, and the race itself. Now, 2 hours and 3 minutes to go. Alif taking the slipstream from the number 888 Tekku Yorti car driven by Ruben Wong. Ruben Wong, and I don't know who's the other 2 drivers, but you know, it's surprising to see Alif is is also one of the quickest Ferraris at the moment, but not as quick as Andika.
Yeah, and I'm sure Alif would actually be saving fuel right now and taking it a bit easy. He wants to extend this as long as possible, make up as much of his driving time before he hands it over to his brother.
On to the AMs then. Let's see how they're doing right now. And I think it's still our long-time leader right now, JMXG Juniors, Peter Key. Is it Key or Peter Kai? Showing some good pace there, still out in the lead. So he's staying in for a second stint. He did one stint and looks like he's doing a second stint, and then someone else will replace him for the last stint.
And how interesting that Zikri got a drive-through, but it's now within 11 seconds of Key.
Wow, has Zikri pitted? No, I don't think Zikri's pitted.
But he did get a drive-through earlier on.
Yeah, so I don't think he's pitted then. Let's go to Zikri's then, shall we, and have a look and see how he's doing. There's Peter Key going through turn 10. And here's Zikri in the red and white Aston about to go through turn 10. Because Zikri's been in the car since the very beginning. Oh, wow.
He's going to have to change drivers pretty soon.
He's going to go over driving time. Each driver has a maximum of 58% driving time. And I think Zikri's gone over it. He's going to get a penalty, right? Team Racing Line is going to get a penalty.
Oh, how unfortunate. Bad situation goes to worse.
That's going to give JMX Juniors. Oh, there he is coming for the pit now. Oh, that's right on the edge. I think it's too much. That's a 140-minute stint. That's two 70-minute stints, right? We'll get our calculators out and figure it out, but I got to think that's right on the limit for maximum driving time. He'll have to change drivers now. If you look on the onboard right now, you can see there's Tasby leading the race. I mean, just over his shoulder is his brother, Alif, who did the first two stints. And does Alif look nervous or does Alif look nervous?
I think Alif looks extremely nervous.
Looks super nervous right there. And the pressure. You know, Stratus Motorsport 111 has been leading this race since second hour. And seriously coming under some pressure from GMX Phantom now.
Yep, 3.5 seconds is what separates them. And Alif is instead of him looking at the screen, which is right in front of him, he's looking at Tasby's screen instead. He's trying to see Tasby's point of view, which is, you know, it can be an advantage if you ask me.
Maybe you can feedback. I mean, you know, Alice was saying earlier, oh, he's having a yawn. Alice was saying earlier that very experienced driver is Alif. Alif is experienced, and he knows what he's doing. So if there's any feedback he can give to his brother on the way he's driving or looking after the tire pressures or who's coming up behind him, it's going to be important.
Car 1 gets a drive-through penalty by race control for possibly causing a collision there. So car 1 of Andy O'Hara and Andrew Lawrenson gets a drive-through. We're going to have to see what was...
I can see it. Hit car 243 from behind causing a spin. Drive-through penalty.
So car 243 was the Circuit Motorsport and race state car. So he hit a back marker there and possibly made them spin out.
Yeah, we do give drive-throughs if leaders are careless with back markers. So that's what the chief steward has said was careless. So drive-through for
car 1.
Yeah. There was a rebut from Andrew Lawrenson's teammate saying the GT4 car braked unexpectedly. But that is the decision. It's been made. Car 1 with the drive-through. That's going to drop him down to what? 5th place?
6th place. Where is Russell Reyes still?
Yeah.
Russell Reyes is at the pit straight. So
Russell Reyes, I have to say, that JMX car has done a great job. You know, the BMW has not had the pace of the Ferraris, and to still be on the lead lap shows what a good job they've done.
Yep. So when Andrew O'Hara officially pits, Nigel Chua will move up position. As you can see that the number 252 Audi in the background, you know, mowing the sand there. Andy O'Hara will drop down to P5 or P6. It depends really whether he can get past the traffic, because at the moment there's a lot of cars ahead of him, and if I was him, I would have pitted.
Yeah. Why don't we see if we can get... I'm going to just see if I can have a little bit of a chat with the other Andy in that car, Andrew Lawrenson, see what he knows is going on. I'm sure we're going to get a lot... Oh, he's not in his seat, so we can't have a chat with him at the moment. But they're proper competitors. They're not going to be happy with that at all.
They're not going to be happy with that at all whatsoever. So all that effort, they were leading the race in the first hour of the race, and for them to get the drive-through is very unfortunate. So now, um, Andrew O'Hara will lose the position as he stays out. So possibly extending his stint, and he has to clear the drive-through by 1 lap. So if he doesn't clear it by 1 lap, he's gonna get that disqualification, and all his efforts in the last 3 hours will be for nothing. Meanwhile, though, on the other hand, Presi Matono, 3.5 seconds is the gap. He's still, he's still right there, right behind Taspi, and as 120 gets a drive-through. So it's a drive-through galore at the moment, Alex.
Yeah, maybe some. Well, we got some new drivers coming in, maybe making mistakes and stuff. That's Edmund Hui. There he is from TVRL. Oh, poor guy. So, well, not poor guy. If he's done the crime, you got to do the time, don't you?
Yep.
And the time is about about a drive-through is about what, 30 seconds, 35 seconds, because it's quite a long pit lane here in Barcelona.
It is quite a long pit lane here in Barcelona. So I've calculated it's roughly around 32 seconds.
Right. So, Hui will have to send his careless driving by the stewards is what the stewards have said. So he'll have to do his drive-through soon too.
Yep. Now, race leader in Pro Am, Alexis Clapano. Last lap was a 45.7, and Shazwan Shafiq's last lap was a 47.8.
Yep.
So Shazwan Shafiq is lapping 2 seconds slower than Alexis Clapano there. And
We have a new guy in second position, don't we? Royce Yu. No,
it's not.
it's
probably Royce Yu.
yes, Royce Yu. What is he? Z Challenger Racing.
Yeah, Zach Challenger Racing in the number 70.
Wow,
So
up
it's
to
Zach
P2.
Challenger. Oh,
What lap? And his last lap wasn't very good. Maybe he got traffic.
maybe got traffic there.
But he's overtaken the Zebra car, your favorite car as well. So maybe Z Challenger can bring the fight to Clapano.
Yep, we can bring the fight to Plano. Now, Andrew O'Hara is in the pits, serving his drive-through. That turquoise scarlet Ferrari with the Slava Ukraini word in front of the car due to the ongoing crisis. Meanwhile, Nigel Chua is coming into turn 1. Nabil Azlan is coming out of the final corner now onto the pit straight and will pass Andrew O'Hara, who's currently exiting the pits. So Andrew O'Hara will come out of the pits in P5, just ahead of Russell Reyes there. Oh, it's not ahead of Russell Reyes, it's actually down to P6, Andrew O'Hara. So that drive-through cost him 3 positions.
But great to see JMX Phantom up here. I have to say, Reyes' laps last time have been pretty consistent, I mean, the fastest lap by this car, the JMX Phantom BMW, is a 44.2, which is pretty good compared to the other Ferraris. And I really feel that this entry has really maximized everything they could get out of that car at this track. So good job up to P5. Let's see if he can hold P5, because they're going to have a very angry Andrew O'Hara coming up behind him.
A very stressed and angry Andrew O'Hara indeed. Laundry House won the championship last season, but one of their cars will always get involved in a collision in every round, whether it's the 90 car or the 911 car, being driven by Angelo Lawrenson, Terry Rayton, Philippa Bukida, Andy O'Hara, and Ryan Houlihan. So it's very surprising to see that they're still bringing their curse from last season, and instead of finishing on the podium in round 1, they'll be finishing outside of the podium, which is a shame.
But they struggled at the beginning of the season last year, but let's remember how they finished. They finished so strong. I think they won the last 3 races on a trot to clinch that championship. No, they didn't win the last one, did they? But they won a number of races towards the end of the season on a trot to get that championship. But yeah, today is not going to be the perfect day that they'd hoped for.
Yep, as into the pits comes Sim Kaiwan in a Blue Steel Racing, and jumping into the car is our commentator from just now.
Yes, Amo Haziki will be jumping in the car. This is the last round of pit stops, everyone. So this is the last chance teams have. They got to change drivers and also perhaps maybe play with tire pressures. If the car's not reacting to the best they can play around with tire pressures a bit.
Yep, they can play around with tire pressures a little bit. The track temp is getting colder actually. Started with 24 degrees track temp and now it's down all the way to 20. So I'm not so sure how the race is going to pan out, especially with 55 minutes to go. Nabil is 18.2 seconds behind the number 44 Nigel Chua car, who has yet to make his pit stop. The top 4 has yet to make their pit stop. And it's going to be interesting to see, though, Alex.
Yeah, you can see that this JMX Phantom coming through the last corner, the orange car at the very top. He can see him. He can smell Tasby up ahead of him. You can look at from the view of the helmet cam, and you can see as he's coming down turn 1, he'll see the flash of green go through turn 1, and he'll know that's Stratos Motorsports. And he go, oh, I'm getting closer. And as a driver, just like the hunter, you become the hunter, and you get excited. You know your tail is up, you're pushing hard, and you can scent perhaps even victory.
Yep. Perhaps even victory indeed. Now Presley Martoni, last lap was a 45.5. 2 tenths slower than Mohamed Tasbi there, as Presley Martoni is just lapping the 243 Circuit Motorsport car in the GT4 category, who's all the way down in P4, I believe. Sorry, P5 in the GT4 category, which is of a shame because they were in P3 at one point. And Presley Martoni there is trying to find his way past the 619 Audi. Oof.
Down to turn 10, that's brave.
That's brave.
That's not really an overtaking spot because it's just a lift through there. But you do require the cooperation of the driver you are overtaking, and luckily the Audi got out of the way.
Yep. Why not we jump back to Alexis Clapano? Where is he? He hasn't pitted yet, and the gap between him and the next car in Pro-Am is... Well, the next car in Pro-Am is all the way down in P14, Jeffrey Conn there.
No, yeah, you're right.
So Jeffrey Conn there, who, in the screen is currently being shown as a Pro car. It's actually a Pro-Am car. A little bit of error there, as Jeffrey Conn currently being pressured by the car in third place of Shazwan Shafiq.
I tell you what, car number 70 is Pro-Am, let's not forget that as well. The Z Challenger car. So, and Z Challenger car is just coming for a pit stop. So that could tighten up still.
Maybe it did, but they have pitted though, this Z Challenger car.
Yeah, but Capano hasn't.
Capano hasn't, and he's gonna pass the car to Alan Drake Cruz.
Yeah, to his AM of that pairing. So that'll be exciting end to the finish. How are the GT4 boys doing? We've seen who's in right now. Sergio Nor's back in the car. Okay, so we know how quick he is. And Team Racing Line have also gone into the pits for their final change. Okay, so Qureshi then will be getting out the car. He would have done his stint. Look at that car. It's been in the wars a bit, hasn't it? And I got a feeling Nazir Asman will be jumping in that car. He's a quick driver as well. And let's see if they can close down the gap.
He's one of the two bronze drivers in the M category in the number 57 Racing Line car. Abdul Rahman Qureshi is the only copper driver in that car. And Nazir Asman will drive the final hour. So we'll have to wait and see what lap times will Nazir Asman produce. Taspi though, 3.8 seconds is the gap that separates between him and Presley Martono. When will he pit though?
It was actually in about 10 minutes, I reckon. No, actually soon. It's the Legion of Racers cars will pit in about 10 minutes. The Ferraris, the leaders, the top two, shall I say, should be pitting very soon now.
Meanwhile, hangry and hot-headed Andrew O'Hara, down in P5 after that penalty, is now saying, "Hello, Nabil Aslan, I'm right behind your gearbox." But he has to make the pits. Nabil hasn't pitted yet as well, so it's going to be a splash and dash all the way until the end.
And he's overtaken Russell Reyes, obviously. Russell Reyes in the pit stop right now, so you can see Russell Reyes there. So Russell Reyes was in 5th position. He's now coming for his pit stop. So when he comes up, he's not out of it. This JMX Phantom car is not out of it. They are still in the battle for 4th position with Stratos Motorsports and Laundry House.
As the second sister car of the JMX car, Presley Martono, is currently in the pits. So P2 overall in the pits. Taspeed has decided to stay out for one more lap.
Maybe more.
And the Legion of Racers car as well is into the pits. Comes Nigel Chua. So now that comes out the question: will Presley Martono pit for fresh tires, and will he? Well, he won't pit.
Definitely pitting for fresh tires. Coming in with 50 minutes to go, won't be quite full, will it? The Ferrari full tank is what?
105.
105. So maybe they could knock off 7-8 liters. Of that. Won't be quite a full tank. They just need to get enough petrol to get it to the end of the race. But okay, so Tasby in Stratos has been under pressure. You know, yeah, but he's driven in quite a good race because he's been able to go a bit longer, hasn't he?
Yep, as Andy O'Hara has has passed Nabil Aslan for P2 overall, but has yet to make his pit stop. So now Andy O'Hara is in P2, Nabil Aslan drops a position down in P3. And, well, I wonder where will this number 1 car finish at the end of the race.
I think he'll finish P3. No,
P4.
Yeah, P4, won't it? Because at the moment, we don't know who's going to win because it's too close right now between Stratos car number 111 and GMX Phantom car number 10.
As race leader that Mohamed Tasbi in a 111 Stratos Flash car has come into the pits. Now, splash and dash. Top up for fuel, change your tires, and it's going to be a 50-minute sprint all the way until the end.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting at how the track conditions have remained quite stable. It is getting to the evening time though, so temperatures are going to start dropping as well. So teams have to stay on top of that with the pressures.
Indeed, and temperatures will drop down. Pressures have to be increasing. If the pressure doesn't increase, then you're gonna get cold tires all the way until the end. As 57, mind you, gets a drive-through, probably because exceeding the pits there. Nazir Asman, who was in P2 in the M category GT4, is all the way down in P7. And where is Andreas Wolf? Andreas Wolf is coming out of turn 4 and has made his pit stop. So now Hold My Beer Racing, who was leading the race, who got caught up in the first hour of the race by the 969 Chak Min Wong BMW car, is now up to P3, back on the podium.
What a great recovery by Hold My Beer Racing. This is a great recovery by them. Who knows? They're only 9 seconds off second position. They might be able to get one more position before the end of the race.
They might be. As race leader in the Pro-Am category, Alexis Clapano.
Yeah, he comes in for the pits. Let's see who else is further up. Let's see where JMX Phantom is. How far behind Tasby is he now?
Well, Tasby, the gap is still there. You can still see Tasby
Big
is
gap. 5 seconds.
5-second gap. So Presley did lost some time there, but it's going to be map 1 all the way until the end for the Ferrari driver. And at the moment, it looks like it's going to be a close finish until the end. How close will the gap be, though, when they cross the line?
God, it's going to be really close. We saw this last year, didn't we? Last year in Barcelona, we had a very close, exciting race. It's partly the reason why we came back to Barcelona. And looks like we're going to get another exciting race. I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm going to say JMX Phantom's going to do it. Martona is looking very quick. Unless, of course, Tasby's... we know Tasby wasn't flat out because he was trying to extend his run, right, in that last stint. Like Alistair was talking about, maybe running map 3, map 4. And it certainly seemed like that because he went 1 or 2 laps longer than Martona before he had to pit.
And look at brother Alif though on the right hand side of the screen there, looking into Tasby's monitor. So Alif is very nervous.
Yeah. But now there's no more pit stops to be done. It's like surely they must be running map 1 and just going flat out.
Yep. But what's the gap now between Tasby and Presi Matono? Tasby's last lap was a 2:43, but he just got out of the pit stop. What about Presi Matono? 1:44.345 as number.
Wow. Okay. Look, and it's clear traffic now. Clear traffic. This would be a good lap to see what sort of lap times they can do. Whoa! The brothers are looking really tense, aren't they?
Yep, they are. As a number 222, Nabil Azan got dropped all the way down in P7, so a bit of a poor pits from them, as number 100 and number 190 of Harishami in the GSR car and number 190 car gets a drive-through, probably by the stewards there.
I think something must be wrong with... I mean, the Aslan brothers, they had great pace in the first half of the stint, and they've been struggling for pace ever since. I wonder if they're just not getting the tyre pressures right. Maybe they went to a slightly different setup to this car, this 111 car, but just haven't had the pace, and it's all been car 111 that's been setting the pace, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's going to be very advantageous, especially when both cars are literally the same car. You can see into people's data, and then you can see where are you losing out, and then you can share setups with them. Yeah,
that's right. So it's kind of curious that the Aslan brothers have gone off the boil as the race has developed.
As 444 there gets a drive-through, so 444 is a Sharif Izuka 9 FSA racing car, gets a drive-through for track limits. So quite a number of cars. Like I said, it's a drive-through galore today.
Yeah, I think it's happening towards the end of the race because we've got new drivers coming in, perhaps maybe making mistakes. maybe they're getting tired. Yeah, look at that. Look at the tower on the left, and we've got 3 drive-throughs for 3 different cars.
Yep, as race leader Andrew O'Hara got a drive-through, was in P3 all the way down to P6, climbed up to P5, and now is serving his last hour of the race. What will Andrew O'Hara do? Stop and go for fuel?
Yeah, absolutely. Put petrol, change tires, and go to the end, I reckon.
And that will promote Tasby into the lead of the race. Now, Presley Martono, the gap was 5.5 seconds. Now
Wow.
it's down to 4.2 seconds.
Okay, so they both had clear traffic, or we think they did. We didn't see the last part of the lap.
They did.
Tasby did a 44.6 on that lap. Martono 44.2.
Yes, indeed. And Tasby, look what's ahead of him. GT4 traffic, GT3 traffic, and they're not going to back off from him. They're not going to back off for him.
They have their own race, of course. They're not going to back off. Our GT4 car will be easy to deal with. A couple other faster cars just ahead of him. So yeah, this is where the GT racing really does come into its own as well. It's very important that you're good in traffic. Often talk to drivers. The drivers are like, yeah, I want to play the numbers game and I want to be more careful in traffic. And that's true to a certain extent. But if you're too careful through traffic, you're going to be too slow. And I think that could be the difference between winning and losing today, is who's going to be better through the traffic in this last little bit. Tasby in Stratos Motorsport car, or Martono in GMX Phantom.
As we were just going to say that, oh my goodness, I thought there was going to be contact between the 888 and the 111 car by the Teco URT. And if that collision did happen, then the gap between P1 and P2 is going to drop down to a second.
Well, who is driving that car at 888 right now?
Well,
Kelvin Ong.
Kelvin Ong in the
Whoops.
888 car.
Yeah, so Kelvin should have just given space, I feel, because he decided to close the door and then last minute decided to go out, and meant that he went off track as well. So should have committed to either just letting him through or just closing the door.
But Presley didn't had a good lap just now. Even though Tasby did had that scare, Presley's last lap was a 45.9. Tasby's last lap was a 45.3, so 6 tenths up in that last lap.
Oh wow, so okay, Presley must have made a mistake off cam. Martono then, not getting everything his own way, is he? He is under pressure, and he is pushing so hard to try and close the gap to Stratos Motorsport.
Yes, indeed, he is. Number 1 car there, Andrew Lawrenson, passing the traffic.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of traffic. He's trying to chase down Nabil Aslan for P6 overall there. And Nabil is not having a good day himself.
No, he's lost time. Got a BMW up to 5th position right now.
So the BMW has...
GMX Phantom.
Yeah, the GMX Phantom 311 car, currently being driven by Dafa Nabiel, has split the sea of Ferraris from P1 to all the way down to P7. And it's kind of refreshing to see something else than a Ferrari in the top 7.
Absolutely. Whenever we try and set the BOP, we try and make sure that there's a nice mixture. We haven't managed to do that this weekend. It's been Ferrari Fest. But in a way, this has been the most impressive entry for me today, GMX Phantom. The BMWs haven't had that pace, but they've been super consistent. They've been on the same lap as the leaders. And now look at the pace that Dafa's now showing. He's in front of Nabu Aslan in the 2nd Stratos Motorsport car.
Hold on, we don't have a LOR car in P3. We have a GSR car in P3.
He hasn't pitted yet.
He hasn't pitted yet.
Yep. There we go. Ali Khairuddin. Remember, he pitted really late. Gafoor, his teammate Gafoor, pitted really late when he handed the seat to him. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's another 5 minutes at least before this car has to pit.
Probably, and that will drop him down all the way to P8. So at the moment, we'll jump on board the timetable now. It is currently a Stratos number 1 and P1 and P6 overall. Presley Martono leading the JMX Phantom Ferrari car, and the sister car of Russell Reyes and Dafa Nabiel in P5. Ali Khairuddin, who has yet to make his stop in P3. Nigel Chua and Adhika Rama Maulana in the Legion of Racers 44 Ferrari is down to P4. And your championship winners from last season, Andrew Lawrenson and Andy O'Hara, down to P7.
And just outside the top 10, in P11, we should talk about him, is the leader of Pro-Am. I think he's your favorite driver of the day, isn't he? Alan Drake Cruz, the 9-year-old who's the AM driver. He shares a car with his pro driver, Alexis Clopano. They're both Filipinos. Oh, that car looks like it's got some latency issues though. I know Alan Drake Cruz is not doing it from Philippines. He's in Norway at the moment. So the ping is looking high, and that's why you see the car crabbing a little bit. But at the moment, they're still in the lead. But let's see, his last lap of 45.0 by Drake Cruz. For a 9-year-old to do a 45.0, that's a great lap. And, oh, okay, well, this lap's not very good. He's in the 46s now. But just behind him in that battle, look, there they are. Z Challenger Racing, Chok Long Lee. Wow, this battle, we got to keep an eye on that. It's only 10 seconds between those two.
And this is the battle for Pro-Am though. So a little bit of confusion there in the timing board. It's supposed to be a Pro-Am car, but it's currently being shown as a Pro car. We'll get it fixed for round 2 though. Meanwhile, the car in P3 at the moment is Mohamed Shazwan Shafiq. And to be honest, he's doing a good job, isn't he?
He's closing down the gap. He's still in the hunt for the win, isn't it? This GSR Motorsport 696 is in the hunt for the leadership in the win still. 35 minutes to go. They could close it down perhaps if he can show some good pace.
And it's going to be very interesting because the gap that's covering between all 3 Pro-Am cars is separated by 12 seconds.
Yeah.
So, you know, looking forward to see an interesting finish towards the end of the race.
Okay, let's have a look at the AM division, shall we?
We should.
So AM is being led by JMX Juniors. Sergio Noor back in the car. He did the opening stint for this team, doing a good job. They have a lap on everyone, I believe. Andres Wolf is in second position for Hold My Beer Racing. You see, so Wolf there. Yeah, no, he's on the same lap as the JMX Junior. He's just almost a lap down. Almost a lap down, but still on the same lap, just. So they've done a really good job, Hold My Beer Racing, to get up to P2 after having a drive-through, getting involved in that accident in the opening stint. So good job by them. In P3 now, in GT4 though, we got Paul Ryan Lopez for Veloce Ragazzo. This team finished runner-up last year. They're hoping to go one better, but at the moment they are P3. And then in fourth position, 243. Shopian side, Sukru MT SPT Racing. Man, that's a mouthful.
It's pronounced as Sukru Motorsport.
Sukru, okay. Maybe they'll shorten the name next time. Good job then, P4.
Yep, good job there, especially for debutants. Let's go back to the front, shall we?
Yep.
5.7 seconds is the gap between Tusby and Presley.
Wow, so he's doing it, isn't he? Tusby's doing the business. He's really been able to maintain that gap. It fluctuates between 3 to 5 seconds, but he's doing a real good job to keep that gap. And then if you look there just behind him, Presley Martona, he's coming through the chicane now. Okay, so they should have a bit of clear traffic now, so maybe this lap might be clear for both of them.
Presley has clear traffic. Tusby doesn't. Tusby has 2 cars ahead of him, but both of them are the GT3 cars. Tusby is lapping way quicker than them.
Look at the last laps of both these drivers. So Tusby with a 44.1.
Wow.
And then Presley Martono there just did a 44.2. So they are flat out, both these drivers. They know they're running out of time now.
They are running out of time now. The gap is still 5.7 seconds. We're 116 laps into this 4-hour race, and with 33 minutes to go, anything can happen. It's going to be a very exciting finish all the way until the end.
We're going to have to watch this. I want to see if they do, and I want to see the celebration over the line from these two
I want to
drivers.
see them as well. Well, we can see from JMX as well because they shared the same room as well.
Let's go look at JMX Phantom for a while, shall we? See if we can find him.
It's currently Presley Martono behind the wheel now.
Yeah, I will look for. There we go. Presley Martono. Let's do this.
There
Go to
you
his car as well.
Yep.
And there's Presley. Ooh, Presley looks super calm.
Yeah, so he's in the same room as Avila Bahar, and Tasbi is in the same room as Alif. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these two people react if they win the race. At the moment, 111 or Stratos Flash is currently leading the race.
Yeah. Presley also has a very interesting grip on that steering wheel when he drives, I have to say.
It's very firm, isn't it?
It's very not firm. The way he doesn't push his thumbs all the way through. It's kind of interesting. I know some drivers do it. It's a karting thing. Presley's very experienced karter, Formula 4 champion. A lot of karters sometimes kind of sit with the hands a bit lower on the wheel. And of course, you can't really do that with this wheel, but he's still got his thumbs really far out. But, you know, it's not over yet, but JMX Phantom must be ruining what might have happened. Remember they lost some time in the very beginning when they got taken out by their sister car when they were lapping it?
Yep.
They lost about 10 seconds, didn't they?
Lost about
8
10
seconds?
seconds.
8 seconds maybe?
Yep. So, oh, wow. Gap between Presley and Tasby is now 5.4, but Presley is lapping 3/10 faster than Tasby.
Yeah, 44.1 by Presley Martono in the JMX Phantom car. That's a quick lap. His fastest lap of the race is 43.9, so he's not far off it.
Is it too late though?
Don't know. Maybe. 30 minutes to go. 30 minutes to go. Because Tasby's looking very quick now. Tasby looks like he's got the pace. The leader looks calm and collected now.
Yep. Meanwhile, let's jump on board to number 44 car, Loaka, last year's runner-up in the entire championship.
Yeah.
Currently being driven by Nigel Chua and Andika Rama Maulana in the 44 Ferrari. So it's a Ferrari 1, 2, 3, and you have a BMW in P4.
So Nigel Chua there. Oof, P3. It's great recovery, really. Let's not forget this team had a drive-through. So to get back up to P3, okay, yeah, they would have preferred to win the race, but after that drive-through, they were down in 5th position. So good recovery.
Yep, good recovery. Meanwhile, battle for Pro-Am. Chuk Long Lee, who is in the Pro-Am category, is 6 seconds behind Alan Drake Cruz. Just ahead of this triple seven Hold My Beer racing car.
Yeah.
And with 30 minutes to go, it looks like he has a chance, because the gap a couple of minutes ago was 10 seconds, now it's down to 6.
Yeah, that's interesting. See, Alan Drake Cruz just ahead of him, leading the Pro-Am right now. His last lap was a 47.4, so it's kind of interesting. He's only 9 years old, and he has got good pace. We've seen him do a 45.0, which is a really good lap for an AM driver. But in traffic, he makes a lot of mistakes, doesn't he? And maybe that's where his experience is. Maybe sometimes being a bit too cautious. Oh, and he's holding up.
And he's holding up a traffic car. So behind him, actually, the Nabil Aslan 222 car and the number 1 Andrew Lawson car, trying to find their way past Alan Drake Cruz. So you shouldn't hit the Pro-Am leader. If you hit, then you're gonna get a drive-through for hitting them.
Yeah, you have to be patient, Nabil. Don't. When we can go on board with Nabil, actually, see how tense he's looking. Gosh, there is Nabil right now, and you can see he's super tense because he's got the laundry house car all over the back of him. Oh, Lawrenson goes really deep there as he tries to clear the Pro-Am leader. And they both
they got a drive-through. Nabil has a drive-through penalty for
track
track limits
limits
warning. So P5 Nabil Aslan.
Look at him. He's so disappointed. He just ran a bit wide through the last chicane. Oh.
That is extremely disappointing.
Wow, tough.
Upsetting by Nabil.
Yeah.
How will brother Nakib react though?
Yeah, Nabil's not had a great day, I have to say. Struggled a little bit for pace.
Yep.
That will be painful because he wasn't under pressure there, because he got through the back markers. And he just put one wheel too wide, and that's going to drop him down.
That is going to drop him down 3 positions actually. He's going to be right behind Sigur Mironenko probably, or probably right behind Fahad Ghafoor there. So what would have been a good day for the 222 car of Nakib Aslan and Nabil Aslan is down all the way until P5 and has yet to serve their drive-through. So it's very unfortunate for them.
Yeah, tough luck.
Tough luck. So back to the lead though, shall we?
Yeah, back to the lead.
5.7 seconds. Presley Martono and Mohamed Tasbi.
Yeah. Well, Tasby's doing it though. Martona is a couple tenths quicker, but Tasby's been very good through the traffic. I would say Tasby's been better through the traffic, and that's allowing him to keep that gap to Martono.
Now the question remains: will Tasby's tire die quicker though? Presley is not lapping in the low 44s all the time. Car 11 gets a drive-through. Presley is not lapping 44s. He's lapping 44, 45. Traffic was a factor, but now if Tasby tire dies with 27 minutes to go, Presley can go all out and probably fight all the way to the death for the win.
Well, but that's a big if, though, isn't it? Because they're both in the same car. They've both been doing over 3 hours of running right now, so they should be in very similar situations.
And P1 in the GT4 category just a drive-through. I got a bit confused there because I thought the car 11 was a GT3 entry, but instead it was a GT4 entry. So GT4 leaders now, Sergio No. That is their second drive-through of the day.
Wow, so we didn't quite catch what it was for. But let's see, where's Andres Wolf in second position? Okay, he's almost a lap down. So even if JMX Jr. served that drive-through, that should still keep him in the lead quite easily.
Quite easy. 30 seconds will probably closing the gap, but not close enough.
So someone on Facebook wants us to follow him.
Yeah, P4, Circuit, and Race Stick. So, debutants.
Yeah,
Impressive.
They've done a great job. Great to
Impressive.
see him up there.
Yep, impressive, very impressive. So, P4 in GT4, that would be 16 points? 12 points.
Yeah, don't quote me on that.
13 points, actually.
13 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, 13 points looks like it's going to be given to number 243, Shopian Said, Muiz Omarali in the Circle Motorsport Race Stick car. Very
But
good debut for
Having
them.
just said that, they only have an 8-second lead on the car in 5th position, Racing Line. And Racing Line at the moment are circulating 2 seconds a lap quicker. So, yeah, it's not over yet. They could still lose that P4.
Might be.
Yeah, we have to watch out for that. Although Nazir Asman has to watch out for track limits. A lot of cars suffering track limits issues just towards the end of the race.
Yep, as Nabil Arslan goes into the pits now to serve his drive-through of the race. Look at it, he's so disgruntled little boy.
No, I feel for him. Yeah, he's not happy. He's a real competitor though, Nabil. He's angry with himself, I can tell. He is in the Toyota Gazoo rookie program. He won a race just last week in his first race in real life. So serious talent, trying to follow his brother into real life racing as well. I've seen that look before. When he gets this angry, normally he starts driving really well straight afterwards.
So it's easy then, just make them angry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Anyway, let's jump on board the leader. What's the gap now? 5.5 seconds is what separates
5.5.
them.
Tasby's doing a great job.
Tasby's pulling it away.
Both brothers, Tasby and Alif, have done a fantastic job this year. And I'm going to revise my opinion. I thought JMX Phantoms were going to close that gap. But looking at what's happening now and the way Tasby is driving.
Car 1 gets a drive-through penalty by race control.
Oh, no.
So it's a second drive-through penalty for Andrew Lawrenson in the number 1 car. That could possibly be by the stewards themselves.
Car 1. Okay, let's try and see what that was for. Oh, he hit someone. Yeah, he hit car 70, drive-through.
So he hit the Chris Lee car in the Pro-Am category, but the number 70 car is actually 3 seconds behind Alan Drake Cruz. So it's very unfortunate for the Laundry House boys. Their bad luck from last year is being carried over to this year.
Okay, they're in the pit lane, but let's remind ourselves, when he does come out, he's going to be right next to Nabil Aslan in Stratos Motorsports car.
And it's going to be square one all over again.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting again, big time.
Now,
You know who's benefiting from the two, these drivers getting drive-throughs? Fahad Ghafoor in GSR. They could be on for the best result. They could end up finishing 5th.
they could end up finishing 5th.
That's their best result, isn't it, GSR?
Yeah, which equals their best result from last season. They didn't finish on the podium last season, but P5 is 11 points for them.
Wow.
And 11 points, especially in the championship, is a lot. So, Fahad Ghafoor there.
Yeah.
And Ali Karuddin benefiting from these drive-thrus by Andrew Lawrenson, who's currently, well, has he served his drive-thru?
Yeah, he has.
Yes. So where's Nakib? He comes out right ahead of Nabil, though. Andrew Lawrenson. Andrew Lawrenson comes up ahead of Nabil Aslan there, and Nabil is still not benefiting from the drive-thru that Andrew Lawrenson got.
Yeah, it's super close. You know, it's actually been a really close day of racing. We have 9 drivers all on the lead lap.
We do have 9 drivers on the lead lap. So all the way down in P9 is Amir Haziq, though, in the number 401 Bentley. Our
Well, actually, it might be a lap down. If you go to Tasby, I think Tasby's just ahead of him. So top 8 all on the lead lap, which is really, really good after 4 hours of racing.
Indeed.
Okay, Tasby there still 5 seconds ahead. That's really good. Let's go. I want to just go down and see the second Laundry House car in P8. He's actually a lap down as well. Okay, so top 7. So the leaders have just gone past Sergio Mironenko. But he's got to keep pushing, you know. He's only 2 seconds off the battle for P6.
And Nabil is actually right behind Andrew Lawrenson. And I guess you're right, Alex. Nabil, when he gets angry, he's going to drive even faster.
Well,
so
yeah, let's see. Still got 20 minutes to go. Lawrenson is not going to want to let the Stratos Motorsport car through. And, you know, that we should go to it, maybe not now, but maybe in a couple laps. That battle for Pro-Am is heating up as well.
Yep, the gap from 10 seconds now down to 3.3 seconds. Alan Drake Cruz is being pressured by Chok Long Lee there. Mohammad Shazwan Shafiq though, in the other GSR car, is on the podium position for Pro-Am category. Look at Presley Martono though. He can see the gearbox of Mohammad Tasbih all the way from Indonesia.
Gosh, they are pushing hard. You know, this is that period of the race, right, where you're just going through that period right now where the tires are not feeling great. You still got quite a bit of petrol on.
Yep, he does have a little bit of petrol on. What map is he running? He's running in map 1. What about Tasbih? Tasbih is running in map 1 as well, but it looks like Tasbih is lapping slower. Tasbih's last lap was a 44.6. Presley Martono's last lap was a 44.4, so it's 2/10 quicker than Tasbih, but 14 minutes remaining. 7.5 laps to go. Sorry, 8 laps to go before they see the white flag.
Yeah, Martono needs to take more risks. I think he's got to take more risks through the traffic, because at the moment, when we're going through the heavy traffic, Tasbih looks like he's getting through the traffic a little bit better. So JMX Phantom have to take more risks through the traffic.
Yes, indeed, and well, Tasbih, he has to be brave. He has to make these moves. He can't be held up by this traffic. If he's being held up by the traffic, then it's just going to be, not beneficial for him.
Yeah. Okay, let's see how that battle for Pro-Am is going. It's still Cruz, though, doing a good job. He's holding off Zed Challenger right now.
Yep, the Challenger Lee, and actually Edward Wong in the Project G Speed My car has overtaken Chok Long Lee in the Pro-Am Bentley. So, he's going to be a bit pissed off with Edward, I believe. But
yeah,
because they're not racing in the same category.
Yeah, that will be annoying. But yes, Cruz holding off for the lead at the moment, at least.
And the gap between the two leaders now is 2.2 seconds. Tasbih being held up by the GT4 traffic. There's another GT3 traffic ahead, and that's the JMX Junior car.
Wow,
JMX Junior car can held up. Well, you can do a little bit. Oh,
that's JMX Junior car. I'm not so sure about that. Is that team tactics?
It might be team tactics though.
Wow, we'll have to have a look at that.
We're gonna have to wait and see as we'll right on board the replay though. Look at that. Tasbih is trying to find his way through traffic there. And the JMX Junior number 12 car is giving a lot of headache to this 111 Stratos Flash car. Tasbih though, look at that. JMX runs wide. Tasbih tries to hug the apex. And he's just going slow, isn't he, the JMX Junior car? So probably a little bit of track tactics there by the JMX Junior car to close the gap to Presley Martono and Mohammad Tasbih. Now, where will Presley Martono be at the moment? Presley Martono, the gap now is 0.3 of a second. That lap, that incident between Mohammad Tasbih and the number 12 car will be under review by the stewards. But at the moment, Presley Martono with 11 minutes to go is 3.3 of a seconds behind Mohammad Tasbih. Where will this race end? How will this race end? We will never know.
We're going to have to look. That's going to cause some noise later. It's kind of a interesting bit. Two JMX Phantom cars going slowly ahead of the leader. It's allowed JMX Phantom car in second position to close the gap. It could all be innocent, of course, but I got a feeling there's going to be quite a few people asking us to look at that.
Probably, and 11 minutes to go, Alex. 11. The gap now is 0.4 of a second. Tasbih is going to be pressured. Presley is going to put all the pressure on Mohammad Tasbih. And he's going to give Tasbih a lot of headache.
Yeah, well, I was going to say let's look at some of the other battles down the field, but we can't. This is the battle we have to focus on right now. It's for the lead of the race and for the pro class and overall lead. Oh, look at that. We have to go on board with the Martono because I think he's got the slipstream.
He does have the slipstream, let's see, but it's a little bit further back. He can't dive down the inside of turn 1 or around the outside of turn 1 as well. At the moment, Presley Martono in the JMX Phantom number 10 car sharing it with Avila Baha, who got taken out by the, it was a GT3 car, wasn't it? The same number 12 car.
Got taken out, not taken out, but he got pushed onto the grass by his sister GT4 car.
Yeah, by his sister GT4 car, the number 11 of Sergio Noor. So it's a very unfortunate for the JMX car, but Presley Martono and Avila Baha was down in P6, now up to P2 and 0.3 of a second behind Mohamed Tasbih, down in up to P1.
Yeah, but it's that. So this is just absolutely nothing between right now.
Ooh, so close the gap.
Yeah.
Presley Martono there almost collecting the rear end of Mohamed Tasbih at the moment there. Presley putting the pressure. Tasbih, let's hope he doesn't succumb to it as Presley runs wide. Presley runs wide coming out of turn 7, coming out of turn 8. The gap now has been increased to 0.6 of a second, and with 10 minutes to go, battle for Pro is heating up. Presley is being pressured. Tasbih is being pressured. We will know who will win this race in 10 minutes time.
I just had to show you this because just as if you go follow Tasbih, you could just see that Alif did a little fist pump just off camera right now. So that's how much it means to them. They know it's down to the tiniest margins, and it's getting super close.
And the gap now is 1.1 seconds between Mohamed Tasbih and Presley Martono there. Alif and Tasbih. Alif can have a little bit of a breather, but I don't think he can breathe. I don't think any of them can breathe. You are fighting for the lead. This is round 1 of the eRacing GP Endurance Edition in Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, and 9 minutes remaining before the white flag is being shown. At the moment, Mohamed Tasbih leading. Gap now 0.9 of a second between him and Presley Martono. We want to look at other races as well, but we can't. This is the battle for overall.
Well,
and Barcelona has delivered again for 2 years in a row in eRGP Endurance Edition. I love this track for racing. I love this track for overtaking. It's very fun.
Yeah, it is. And let's just go on board with Martono, see if you can see what he's looking like there. He looks, oh, he doesn't look as calm as he did, what, 15 minutes ago.
10 minutes ago. He looks more angrier now than he is.
He knows he has it in his grasp right now. He's
Oh.
close enough to get a slipstream. But we've seen him making mistakes. We've seen him make a mistake the lap before. Don't know if he can keep it up.
Oh, Tasbih there a little bit wide though. Both of them running a little bit wide coming out of turn 7 and turn 8 into turn 9 now. Now gap now is 0.8 of a second. Up a little bit right on the curb there by Presley Martono in the Ferrari. You can't do that. If you ride too much curb, then the car is gonna be upset. As number 31, Alan Drake Cruz in the Pro M gets a drive through. Another drama in the race so far. We have 2 dramas. One for Pro M. Leader in Pro M gets a drive through. Alan Drake Cruz though gets a drive through for track limits warning. It's very unfortunate. Now Chuk Long Lee will move up to P1 in Pro M.
Wow, so the AM driver in car 11 makes a mistake with the track limits. That's going to cost him the race for sure, because the guy in second is only a couple seconds behind him, and they have to serve the drive-through now. Heartbreak for the young 9-year-old.
Heartbreak for the young 9-year-old indeed. Chuk Long Lee in P2 will move up to P1 when Alan Drake Cruz serves his drive-through. Shazwan Shafiq in the GSR 696 Audi sharing with Taufik Mokin will move up to P2, and the only Honda in the grid by Arthur Vanderlei will move up to P3 in Pro Am.
Ah, damn, he's going to have to do it before the end of the race. Back to the front though.
Oh, number 88, get out of the way, 88, you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Number 10 in the middle of it tries to cause a little bit of headache, and Tasbih can breathe a little bit. 7 minutes remaining. What a race we have here on our hands, Alex.
Yeah, and it's coming down to the last few laps. Just under 7 minutes to go. I think Tasbih's going to hold off. He looks like he's got the pace to just about hold Presley off.
And just hold Presley off, he will. Where is Presley? Right on board in the rear wing of the number 111 Stratos Flash car. Tasbih has to get past his number 777 Home Ibea Racing GT4. In the meantime, Tasbih, the gap now. Oh, Presley Martono that trying to squeeze his way past the GT4 there. Does get the job done. A little bit wide by Presley Martono there. He can't go extremely wide, otherwise he's going to get that drive-through warning. It's going to be shambles if that ever happens. Presley Martono though pushing like hell. Push like hell, my boy. This is the battle that we wanted. We waited 5 months, we waited 3 months for this actually. From Spa all the way down to Barcelona again, as Alan Drake Cruz now has pit for his drive-through purposes. Where is Mohamed Tasbih and where is Presley Martono? Alif there can't look. He's looking at his phone. He's not looking at his brother anymore.
Yeah.
Is he, Alif?
I know what he's doing on his phone because I'm just seeing it coming through the protest channel. They're protesting JMX Phantom for unnecessarily slowing down the leader. And we only saw the end of it, but it did look very interesting. So,
And
look, you can see brothers talking to each other.
probably displeasurement by both brothers at the moment there. Tasbih angry as number 31, Alan Drake Cruz, drops down all the way. Well, he's still ahead of the GT. Well, he's still ahead of Mohammed Shafi. That's impossible. I don't think it is. No, he's right behind. He's way behind.
Now the leader there, Z Challenger car number 70.
Z Challenger car. So Alan Drake Cruz demotes himself from P1 down to P3 in the Pro Am car. Let's go back to the lead. 5 minutes to go. 1 second gap. Let's count out the number 44 car.
Ooh,
He's
Tasby runs wide.
Tasby runs wide. Both of them runs wide. 1 second gap is what separates them. 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Coming into the turn 7 and turn 8 section there. Sorry, Presley with a tighter line there, and Tasby with a little wide coming into turn 7.
All we need is one small mistake, and that's it. You could end up losing this race.
But look at that. 222 in the middle of it. 111 is going to lap 222. Will Team Tactics be in the way?
Well, I hope they're listening to this because we are already looking at team tactics. So I hope that they do not use team tactics because it's expressly forbidden in the regulations. Obviously, you don't have to jump out of the way of drivers, but if it's something's excessive that we notice that's really unusual, we will take a look at it.
Yeah, indeed. And what's the gap now? I'm interested to see the gap. I'm interested to see the gaps. The gaps now separates 0.8 of a second. 4 minutes to go. 3:55. So that is roughly. So close. Probably 2 laps.
3 minutes. They've got it.
3 laps.
That's okay. I mean, they just need to stay calm here and not panic.
3 laps remaining in this race.
It's traffic. Traffic would be car 77 drive-through
will be a factor. So 777 of Hold My Beer Racing. So unfortunate. They were in the podium position just now in the GT4 category. Now with the drive-through, possibly due to track limits, well, he's going to be out of the podium contention. Meanwhile, Tasby Presley 0.803 is the gap that separates them. 2.5 laps remaining in this 4 hours endurance race, and I'm going to be surprised if Presley wins. I'm going to be really surprised if Presley wins.
You're going to be surprised? I can't call it. I think it's going to be really close.
I think it's going to be very close as well, but this is what we love about endurance racing, especially the last minutes of the race. Stratos' car, they're backing off. He has to back off. So he has to.
Well done, Stratos 79, just staying completely out of it, not interfering with the battle. That's the correct way to do it.
Yep, that's the correct way to do it indeed. But there's one more traffic. The number 59 Mean Machine car, Alif, is looking at his phone. He's not looking at Tasby anymore. And Tasby, pull away, son. Presley, push. 2 laps remaining. So it's going to be this lap, and it's going to be the last lap before they show the white flag. Sorry, the game shows the white flag, and we're going to have the last lap of the race. 2 minutes 13 remaining. 9.948 is the gap that separates them. Tasby asking questions to Alif in the bottom right of your screen there, and possibly due to the track, possibly due to the team tactics warning there.
Well, it's. I think the stewards are just going to have to look at it after the race because that sort of thing is
forbidden.
Well, no, that sort of thing is very hard to determine. So the stewards will want to take the time. It's not something that you can just go, oh yeah, definitely, because it's very hard to determine, and you need time to look over all the facts.
Yep. My goodness, my heartbeat has been increasing, Alex, since the start of the race. I'm guessing now my heart rate is around 130 beats per minute. Just seeing this race is extremely exciting. These 2 guys have delivered their best of their abilities. Okay, now we got a small gap. Do you want to just see how the leaders of the other championships are doing? Yeah, we should. Now, Chert Long Lee, number 70 car, is leading the Pro-Am category, and Mohammed Shafi is right behind him. Alan Drake Cruz, who was in the lead in Pro-Am category just now, is down to P3. So a little bit, it's a little bit sad for them, but they can probably take it on the chin. In the GT4 class, on the other hand, Sergio Nor in the number 11 GMX Juniors car is leading in the GT4 category, and Andreas Wolf, even though with the drive-through, he still leads. He's still in P2. Yeah, still in P2, still on the lead lap. Just they've both had drive-throughs, these top two drivers, but they're still leading. P3. Paul Ryan Lopez, the Veloce Ragazzo car
couple laps down, 1 lap down on the leaders.
1 lap down. Now, final lap of the race. Mohammad Tasbih, Presley Martono. You can hear the game in there. Leader on final lap, and you can hear the radio comm in the game there. 1.2 second gap there. Presley is backing off. It's very unfortunate. I don't know why. He had his chance. The gap was 0.3 of a second, and at the moment, Tasbih is pulling away. No more traffic up ahead for Tasbih, but 1 traffic up ahead for Presley, and that is the race leader of Mohammad Tasbih.
Yep. And it's a big traffic. It's not going to be easy to overtake. This is the last lap. What's it? 1.3 seconds. Oh, and thankfully for Stratos' sake, no traffic in front of him, so he might have a clear run to the flag. Oh, he runs deep.
Runs a little bit wide there, Mohammad Tasbih. Where is Presley Martono?
He's right there.
It's right there. It's right behind him.
Look at Tasbih below us, though, in the shot. He looks so calm and collected.
Cool, calm, collected is the name of the
Yeah.
game. You
His
have to be calm.
His brother doesn't, I have to say.
His Alif is probably like heartbeat is increasing for Alif. Presley the 1.3 seconds. He doesn't look like he can get closer to Tasbih unless anything happens, unless Tasbih succumbs to the pressure. But knowing Tasbih, having raced with him before, Tasbih is one of the most consistent guys I've raced with.
And look at Presley right now. He's still pushing really hard. Not giving up at all.
Not giving up at all indeed. Meanwhile, last lap, final few corners of the race, Muhammad Tasbih and Muhammad Alif, both Hamilton fanboys, both driving for Stratos Flash car in the number 111 Ferrari, is going to be the winner as they cross the line. Look at that, Alif is happy, Tasbih is happy, they win round 1 in Barcelona, followed up by Presley Martono.
Yeah, congratulations, guys. That's a great job. Let's go back down now to Pro-Am, see who's at. So, Stratos in first, JMX Phantom in second, Legion of Racers comes home for third, JMX Phantom in fourth. And here are the leaders of Pro-Am right now. Yeah, this is Nigel Chua and P3. Let's go to the leaders of Pro-Am right now.
So leaders in Pro-Am just now, Nigel Chua will cross the line in P3 in the Pro category, in overall category. Chut Long Lido on the other hand, capitalizing on the mistake by Alan Drake Cruz. Look how beat up that Bentley is. It looks like it just came out of the war. And a war indeed for the past 4 hours. Alif and Tasbih on the on the bottom right of the screen can't believe that they won it after being pressured. Chut Long Lido will cross the line. Do we have a Zoom call of them?
Yeah, later. Let's just watch Chuk Long Lee crossing the line. We'll talk to the overall winners in a second. But Chuk Long Lee will be crossing the line now.
Oh, it's actually 2 Galores. It's actually both GT4 leaders and GT3 Pro-Am leaders in the same class. Sorry, in the same frame. So Chut Long Lido just passing the number 11 JMX Junior car of Sergio No and Peter Kai. And Chut Long Lee rounds the final chicane, goes a little bit wide. Peter Kai goes a little bit wide as well. Will win the Pro-Am category for the GT3. Chut Long Lee crosses the line in P12 overall and wins P1 in Pro-Am. And P1 is Sergio No and Peter Kai in the JMX Juniors.
Okay, now let's have a quick chat with Mohammad Tasbih right now. Tasbih and Alif, can you hear us?
Yeah,
what a
we can. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you. Fantastic result. What a win. Talk us through your race. That looked seriously stressful at the end there.
It was so stressful. I mean, I don't know. Look, coming into here, we didn't expect to win. We were just like going as the flow, because 2 days of practice since landing in Singapore, and we knew that we were gonna get like faster throughout the race.
Yeah.
But like a win was there for us, and I couldn't believe it.
I have to commend you in that last stint. You found some extra pace. You looked like you were struggling a bit in stint 3, and we were like, oh, it doesn't look like you're going to be able to hold on to this, but that last stint went really well.
Yeah, no, the pace was there. It's just more of the consistency. So on the last stint, just managed to find the rhythm and carried it all the way through. So yeah, it was nice and clean.
Super. We're super happy for you. Congratulations and well done.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Wow, okay, so that was exciting. We should go to the timetable and the results, and put it all out.
So in race lead is Mohammad Tasbih there in P1, followed up by Presley Martono in P2, Nigel Chua in P3 in the Legion of Racers number 44 Ferrari. So it's a Ferrari 1, 2, 3 sweeping the podium there. and Presley Martono, sorry, in Dafa Nabia in the other JMX car in P4. So at the moment, Legion of, sorry,
Yep.
at the moment it's JMX Phantom P2 and P4.
Yep, absolutely. They are. There is the grid. Ferraris everywhere. We could go to the Pro-Am class. Well, we won't look at the Pro-Am class because it's not really classified very well, but you can see them there. Z Challenger there, car number 70 taking their first win, with Moin and Shazwan finishing P2 and Cruz and Clapano finishing in P3. Down in the GT4 class, look at that. Great win there for JMX Juniors in car 11. Hold My Beer Racing, they recovered. What a great recovery drive to finish P2. I have to take my hats off for them. And of course, in the third position was, which team was that?
Veloce Ragazzo.
That's right, Veloce Ragazzo with Lopez, Lapuz, and Pedila. So these are the finishing positions with GT4. Congratulations, everyone. What a race that was. Okay, it's been a long day. What's that? Over 4 hours. 4-hour race. That's round 1 of the Endurance Edition. We got 5 more rounds coming out throughout this year. Fantastic racing. Congratulations to all the boys and girls who took part. Of course, thank you to our sponsors, X Park, of course, Axel, Motorsport Playground, who does those fantastic car wraps, and of course, Life, who give us the great shirts. So awesome, well done. Any further comments?
Probably one of the best races I've seen in quite some time.
Yes, absolutely. Very exciting all the way throughout all the classes. Thank you to all the guys behind the scenes. Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you for the teams and drivers for putting on such a great show. Yeah, we'll see you next month. Round 2 will be coming on at the end of next month. So take care and see you then.